All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2023 Sort of Sporties. Yes! Yes! Wow, that man in the back is very excited. And yes, folks, I know I promised Jamie Foxx to be hosting this year. Obviously, he had his massive surgery done this year, so he is not able to be the host here tonight. Oddly enough, I believe he was supposed to host the Golden Globes this year also. So I just want to say, Golden Globes, can you please stop stealing the ideas? Sorry, he was supposed to host the Emmys. And I just want to say, Emmys, it was my idea to have Jamie Foxx host first. So, just saying, if next year you steal my host, I'm going to be pretty angry, like really angry. But I'll announce the host for next year at the end of the episode. Right now, I just got to say, we got a great show here tonight. I'm actually recording this in the morning, but it's still going to be a great show tonight, too, because you can listen to this 24/7 if you want to. Just put this video on loop, and you can listen to it literally whenever you want. Yeah! Woohoo! Yay! See, these people love it. All the people in attendance tonight. We got some stars here tonight. We've got, oh my gosh, a member of the first ever Ryan Klinger Film Hall of Fame class. Over there in the corner, I see you. Moneyball and Megamind. Wow. Oh, Megamind, wait a minute. You're in the 2022 class. Go sit with them. Get over there with Django Unchained. Get over there. Moneyball's in a class by himself. None of the other original members of the Hall of Fame came in attendance tonight, so exceptionally disappointed. But, it's always great to see Brad Pitt, and when he points at me, I'm supposed to talk. For those of you that got that joke, I really appreciate it. All right, so I think what we should do is we're going to start off with the newest segment added to the 2023 Sort of Sporties. And I should say, if you stumbled upon this podcast episode because you're one of the 50 views I got on my last episode, which I don't know how I got 50 views on. No, it was 2 episodes ago. Episode 77. I don't know how I got 50 views on I Love Lamar as the title of the episode, but apparently a lot of people agreed. If you stumbled upon this, what's going on? So every year I do my own award show. I do a podcast. It's my own award show where I name the best movies I watched in the year that released in that year. So like the best movies from 2023. So for this year, like Across the Spider-Verse, Creed 3, Guardians of the Galaxy, Barbie, Oppenheimer, etc. And then I'll list the best movies I just watched, period, this year. So for example, last year I watched Django Unchained. And so Django Unchained was one of the best movies I watched last year. It actually won Movie of the Year last year, so that was pretty exciting for Django Unchained. So it's my own award show. This isn't the Oscars. This isn't the Emmys. This is the Sort of Sporties. And we got a great show here tonight. And let's get into our newest category, which is music. So when it comes to music, my sister was talking to me. She really wanted me to start doing music awards because, as my girlfriend pointed out to me, G was like, Ryan, you're more of a music guy than you realize. You're definitely really into music. You talk about it a lot. You like showing people music. You listen to the music a lot. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not like Anthony Fantano. And she's like, no, but like, that's probably a good thing. That guy listens to so much music, it just can't be fun anymore. It's probably become too much for him. I there's no way he still like really enjoys it, and that's sad. But she's like, yeah, you should talk about it because you're very passionate about it, and you listen to more music than you watch TV. I'm like, that's a good point. So because I'm more of a movie guy. So the thing is with music, I wasn't going to keep a list of every song I listened to throughout the year. No, it's not going to work. Because that's what I do for movies. Is I keep a list of every film I watched, but we'll get to that later when we do the movie section. So for music, what I decided to do is I made my own awards, and I did it like the way you'd see like the NFL or the NBA awards. So we have MVP, Rookie of the Year, Most Improved Player, and Sixth Man of the Year. And then we have First Team All 2023, which is 5 songs that if I said like what were the 5 songs, like when I look back on 2023, what 5 songs I'm going to think about the most, and that's what those 5 are. So for music, let's start off with the MVP of 2023. And this prestigious award is going to the guy or girl, basically just the artist that from start to finish of 2023, I was listening to and I was loving their music. They really, when I look back on the year, I'm going to think about a lot of different songs by them. They really were a part of my year. And the MVP of 2023 for music is Morgan Wallen. Thing is, Morgan Wallen, quick thing. If you asked me 2 years ago, do you listen to country music? I'd be like, no. And then 2022, around July, I don't know what happened to me, but all of a sudden, I just really started enjoying country music. And Morgan Wallen was probably he was like the first country artist I listened to. And Seven Summers was like the big song by him I found that I really loved. And I still love to this day. And so I started listening to him, and then I just started listening to more and more country. And I found that I really like the more 80s, like Hank Williams Jr., George Strait, George Jones, that sound, and a modern version of that sound. So like some other artists that do similar things now. And the more poppy sound of Morgan Wallen isn't really what I listen to that much, other than him. And in 2023, I genuinely probably listened to 30 different songs by him consistently, which is insane. He released a new album in 2023, and I just want to say, all the stuff, all the artists, all the music, it doesn't matter if it's released in 2023 or not. It's all the same, because just because something came out in 2023, if I did the awards based off things that only came out in 2023, it'd be pretty short, because I don't listen to a lot of songs that just came out. But Morgan Wallen did release a new album last year, so props to him for that. I listened to a lot of that. He was my most listened to artist on Spotify, but that doesn't mean you're going to be MVP. He was MVP because I remember listening to him on the first day of the year. I was driving in my car listening to a Morgan Wallen song, and in December I was still listening to him, and I had found different songs throughout the year that I liked. I found this year that I really enjoyed Me on Whiskey, Need a Boat, what's another? Quitting Time. That was a good one too. I found some other songs that I liked by him. And then obviously the new album had a lot of songs I really loved. Everything I Love, One Thing at a Time, Whiskey Friends. There was a lot of songs off the new album that I really, really enjoyed. Think About Me. That was a good one too. There's a lot of good stuff. But yeah, so Morgan Wallen, really the thing with him is he is the most poppy country I listen to, but there is something very fun about him. He's the country artist you can turn on, and pretty much everybody has a song or two by him they enjoy. And when he goes more for a classic country sound, in my mind, like a classic country sound would be like a Hank Williams Jr. When he goes more for that in some songs, is incredible. I really love that. So, Morgan Wallen, listen to you all year. You killed it, boy. MVP of 2023. Now let's shift over to Rookie of the Year. So this is the award that goes out to the artist that I found this year and I just absolutely loved. I hadn't listened to them before. I didn't even really know they existed before, and now they're one of my favorites. I also want to say, I used to be a guy, didn't listen to hardly any country, and now that if you ask me what I listen to, that's pretty much all I listen to at this point. There are some exceptions, and the artist that I listen to the most that's not country anymore is the Rookie of the Year winner, and that is SZA. I'm probably the only guy on Spotify whose top 5 most listened to artists were Morgan Wallen, Cody Johnson, John Party, Zach Bryan, and SZA. I think the first 4 are probably in a lot of people's because, like once you listen to one, you listen to a lot of the others. But SZA at 5 was hilarious. So I had heard about the Control album before. I had heard that album was really good. I didn't even know who the artist that wrote it. But I can actually remember finding SZA. It was a night in March. I was sitting there on my couch, and I was actually messing with the Spotify DJ. Yeah, that's right. Like the AI Spotify DJ. I was just seeing what was up with it because it just dropped. And it played me Snooze off SOS. This is a song. And I was like, this is incredible. So I just clicked the album, and I genuinely just sat there for like an hour. And I just listened to every song off the album. And I added them to my like songs. And to this day, they're all still in there. I have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 songs I added in one night. Oh, I take it back. I added those all. I added 8 in one night, and then I added Ghost in the Machine later. But also, one of the most beautiful album covers ever in my mind. I love the SOS album cover. With SZA, Kill Bill is obviously a banger. Everybody knows that. It also is the song in one of the funniest mixtapes I've ever seen, which is O.J. Simpson highlights to it, which is just absolutely terrible, but also hilarious. SZA also starts off the album with a song that probably most people consider just an intro track, but I actually listen to like a real song, and it's one of my favorite songs by her, and that's SOS. That song's absolutely gas. Like, I really like that song. SZA's just fun. I know it's like hot girl music, and I am neither hot or a girl, but it works for me, and I really enjoy it. I actually still haven't listened to Control yet. I'm waiting for a time when I'm like mentally ready and prepared to start the Control album, because I've only listened to SOS, so I know Control is supposed to be as good, if not better. So I'm really, really excited to eventually give that a shot. SZA, congrats on being Rookie of the Year for 2023. I didn't listen to you before, and now you're like one of my favorite rappers. She rapper? I'd say rapper. R&B? Probably more R&B, right? I don't know. Whatever she is, she's killing it. Now let's go to the Most Improved Player Award. This goes out to the artist that I knew of before. I was like, yeah, they're all right. And then this year something just clicked. Now they're one of my favorites. And this goes out to my boy, Jon Pardi. I remember I was mowing the lawn at my aunt's, and I had the headphones on that have the radio connection. And I was listening to country radio, and they played Your Heart or Mine by Jon Pardi. And I was floored. I was like, this is a banger. As soon as I got done mowing, I looked it up on Spotify, saved it to my playlist. Since then, I pretty much just went to that album. I think that's the Mr. Saturday Night album. And I just rolled through every song and listened to it and added all the ones I liked to my country playlist. And yes, Django is the picture for my country playlist. But, I mean, there's so many good Jon Pardi songs. Mr. Saturday Night, Heartache on the Dance Floor. I will say, Heartache on the Dance Floor is one of those, like, everybody knows, but everybody knows it for a reason, because it's really good. So it's like, I mean, come on. Dirt on My Boots, another one everybody knows, but it's great. Heartache Medication, incredible. That was like one of the only songs I listened to for a minute. Like, I would just play Heartache Medication all the time. I found Heartache Medication, though, earlier in the year. I found that like in like February, and that was like one of the only songs I'd listened to by him. And then I, went on this run in the summer. When I've Been Drinking's an older one by him. That's a good one. But there's so many off the Mr. Saturday Night album I like. Last Night Lonely, Neon Lightspeed, Rain Check, Day I Stopped Dancing, all excellent songs. Yeah, he's just cooking, honestly. The thing I like about Jon Pardi is he sounds like an 80s country guy. He's old school. I really enjoy that. He's like kind of rocking a little bit, but it's like the right amount. Jon Pardi has like a classic country sound to him. Because in country music right now, there's like it's starting to go more folk, which I enjoy. I vastly prefer the folk over like the wearing those blue jeans, snap, doom, doom, snap, staring at your eyes, doom, snap. That's the worst country. That is like the worst, in my opinion. That is when I didn't listen to much country music, because it's like, I know a lot of people like Dan and Shay. I'm not a Dan and Shay guy. Are there exceptions? Probably. There's probably a song or two by them that I do enjoy. But for the most part, like that sound where it's like, I don't know if I need to do it again, but I'm gonna. It's like, walk into the room, snap. Looking at the girl over there, snap. Walked over and gave her my number, snap. And she flipped around her hair, and now I'm staring. And it's like kind of like rock or it's pop. It's really weird. And the God's Country song, I don't like that song either. I know it's like made just to be played at Memorial Day and 4th of July barbecues in Midwest America, and that is what happens to it. It's really the only time I hear it, and I bet my dad really likes it. It just sounds dumb to me. He's like, right? That's like the worst country music. The best stuff is like the cowboy folk or like cowboy love song. That's what I'm here for. And John Party is doing cowboy love song, and I love it. He's awesome. So, John Party, thank you for keeping that classic sound alive. And now that like the two big sounds are like cowboy folk and cowboy love song, you are killing it on the one end. So thank you, John Party. Okay, now let's go to our final award, which is Sixth Man of the Year. So Sixth Man of the Year goes out to the artist that I previously didn't listen to much in the beginning of the year. I actually remember I only had one song by this artist I listened to. And by the end of the year, I genuinely considered putting him as MVP. I listened to this artist more than anyone in the entire world. Music-wise. Oh my gosh. I don't want to get in trouble. I try my best to listen to my girlfriend and my mom. So, just saying. But so Sixth Man of the Year is going to go to the artist that, like I said, honestly, in my mind, it was a real argument between this artist and Morgan Wallen for who's the MVP of 2023. And that artist is, right now, there's three really big country artists. There's Morgan Wallen, there's Zach Bryan, and then there's the most cowboy of them all, Cody Johnson. Congratulations, Cody Johnson. Oh my gosh. Cody Johnson went from being a guy I basically didn't listen to, I was borderline unaware of, I just knew the song Human by him, to now being maybe my favorite country artist. Oh my gosh. All right. Talk to Me Right is tied for my favorite country song of all time, and Talk to Me Right is just flat out one of my favorite country songs of all time. Right now you're saying, what is Talk to Me Right? Talk to Me Right was shown to me by my sister's boyfriend in July, because he's a huge Cody Johnson fan. And he's like, yeah, he wrote this really early in his career. Doesn't even sound like Cody Johnson. His voice is a lot higher. It is genuinely his best song. I'm sorry, Cody, you peaked really early on with Talk to Me Right. It's not that your new stuff isn't good. I love a lot of your songs, but Talk to Me Right is incredible. And we're going to talk about it on the First Team All 2023 because it is amazing. And Talk to Me Right is where I just started listening to more and more of him. He released a new album this year, and that album has a couple songs I really like, especially Work Boots and Leather, both of those bangers. Really love Work Boots. But there's so many good Cody Johnson songs. Oh my gosh. Never Go Home Again, Human, Welcome to the Show, Son of a Ramblin' Man, I Don't Know a Thing About Love, When It Comes to You, Honky Tonk Hardwood Floors, Me and My Kind, Long-Haired Country Boy, Nothing on You. Half a song is incredible. Half a song is one of the best like country love songs ever. Half a song is so good. Also, I should say, John Party also released a new album this year. He put out his Christmas album, which is like unironically incredible. I actually love his Christmas album. It's really good. I listened to it this Christmas. It was awesome. So thanks, John Party. But Cody Johnson, just undefeated. Dude is absolutely cooking right now. And you want to talk about a guy that sounds old school? He definitely does. He really reminds me a lot of like listening to George Strait. Not in the way they sound, but in the vibe they give. Cody's able to make songs that are like borderline rock country, and then he can turn around and make something slow, mellow, and very loving. And then he can also turn around and do more of a folk sound like Zach Bryan, and that's really impressive. For what it's worth, I do really like Zach Bryan. He's just not one of the award winners this year. But I like Cody Johnson and John Party more, so I'm glad they won awards. But Cody Johnson, congrats on being Sixth Man of the Year. And let's get into the first team all 2023 for songs. Now, these are in no particular order, but I will say the first two are tied for my favorite country song ever made. The first one I found in 2022, and that is Seven Summers by Morgan Wallen. This song just has a vibe that I've never found of any other song. It tells a story, and I love a song that tells a story. That's why my favorite song ever is Escape, the Pina Colada song by Rupert Holmes. Seven Summers tells a story, and it's a bittersweet one, like the definition of bittersweet. And first time I heard it, I couldn't get enough of it, and to this day, I'm still not tired of it. It's really catchy, but also not annoying, and that's special. On top of the fact that it's a great one to listen to while driving, and you just kind of look out, especially where I live. I live in the middle of nowhere, and it definitely fits that vibe. And, I mean, you should just go listen to it because it's excellent. It really is. Tied for best country song ever is the next song on the list, which is Talk to Me Right by Cody Johnson. Man, oh my gosh. This song is so good. I thought this song might be my most played song of the year, and I started listening to it in July. That's how much I play it. It's never gets old. It's rocking. It also tells more of a bittersweet story. Not as sweet as the Morgan Wallen song, Seven Summers. A little more bitter. But I say Morgan Wallen's more bittersweet. This one's kind of like, I don't even know. Sinful? I don't know what to say for Talk to Me Right. You got to listen to it. This is a song hardly anybody knows. I put a lot of people on this song. Usually what happens is I start playing it, and they're like, what is this? I'm like, it's Cody Johnson. They're like, no, it's not. I'm like, it's really early in his career. Then by the end of it, they're like, hey, what was that called? I want to add it to my playlist. I'm like, hell yeah. It's amazing. Talk to Me Right is the best country song that no one knows about. Thank you to Nate for showing it to me. Incredible. And like I said, this is just top 5. These aren't ranked. Even though I love to rank things. You know, I rank things all the time. I actually have a list on my phone of the things I love most in life. And ranking things is number 5 on it, I want to say. Let me check. Things I love. Yeah, ranking things is number 5. It's right below being told I smell good and right above thighs. Let's not ask any more questions, and let's go back to the Sort of Sporties. Okay, so next up in the top 5, we've got Still Into You by Paramore. Oh my gosh. I've been listening to this song since I was like 6. This song's amazing. Oh, Paramore cooks. Ain't It Fun is also a banger. Like, Paramore bangs. Like, Paramore absolutely bangs. But Still Into You was one of those songs, it was just like, it was one of the songs I played all time in the summer. It is a perfect song to play when you're in the car with the windows down and the wind blowing through your hair. If you're bald, you're not going to like the song as much, and that's okay. You'll still enjoy it. But when you're like me and you got longer hair and you play Still Into You by Paramore, oh my gosh. It's incredible. Incredible. Paramore is one of those artists that no one really talks about, but I guarantee if you play Still Into You or Ain't It Fun, everyone in the car with you will enjoy it. It is one of those bands that literally everyone likes. They just don't realize how much they like them. And Still Into You is the song by them that literally everyone knows, but no one really talks about. And I'm talking about it right now because it's so good. Still Into You is incredible. I love this song. Next up is the only song on this list, and the only song ever that I've named a podcast episode after, and that is Why by Southall. This is another song a lot of people don't know. This is more of a sad song, and it's very much more folk country sound. And I think the thing that's interesting about this is I don't really like sad songs. Hardly ever. But I love this song. And I guarantee when I named the podcast episode that a lot of people were very confused because it's not really a well-known song. Like, if I would have named it Thriller for Michael Jackson, you guys would understand, like, the reference. Whereas this, most people probably didn't get the reference. They were like, what is he talking about? If you just said bless you to me, wow, this is pre-recorded, I really appreciate that. very polite. Back to Why by Southall. Like I said, another song most people don't know. I would really give this a shot, even if you're not a country music person, because it's not super country. It's not a. My mother hates country music. She says it's all about women and drinking in cars, and not women drinking in cars. Women drinking in trucks is what she always says, or one of the three, or all of them. This song is about really none of that. It's really just about lost love and the fact that he really can't get over his lost love, and it's a really sad tale, and I think it's excellent. So it also has an amazing key change at the end. Incredible key change. So yeah, there's a reason I named the podcast episode about after that. I was literally just super upset about the Panthers. They were just completely disappointing me. And we just fired Frank Reich, and we lost the next game. And the only thing I could think about when I was typing in the episode title is this song's chorus, because it says, why can't I fall out of love with you? And that's how I felt about the Panthers in that moment. They're incredibly frustrating, but yet I'm still loving the Panthers. All right, let's go to the last song on First Team All 2023. This song is from Cody Johnson. He's the only artist to have 2 songs on First Team All 2023. And this is a song, I Don't Know a Thing About Love. This song gives me such a distinct vision. Here's what I picture when I hear this song. There's 2 people, a boy and a girl. The girl's wearing a varsity jacket. It's nighttime. The moon is a full moon shining off a lake as they sit on the bank of it in the back of a pickup truck, sitting on the hatch. Right? Isn't that the name of it? The thing that comes down? I feel stupid, but I'm going to keep going. And they sit there, and as the song goes on, they lay back, and the boy starts singing it to her, and she's laughing, and she tells him to stop, and you're confused why she tells him to stop. And then they sit there and talk a little bit, and as they talk, you start to figure out that he's leaving for college because they're both seniors at this high school, because she's wearing the varsity jacket, and it's very filled out. And as they start to talk, you start to figure out that the girl doesn't really want to be with him anymore. And right as the song is ending, she walks away, and he just stares out in the moonlight on the lake. And that's this scene. I don't know why I have such a distinct vision when I hear this song, but I picture this literally every time. So, the song's incredible. It becomes 10 times better if you listen to it at night, and it's amazing. And it makes me picture that scene every time. And the song isn't even about that, but that's what I picture every time. If I ever make movies, that's going to be the opening scene to one. And you'll be able to go back to this podcast and go, oh my gosh, he had that idea when he was 19. Yes, I did. All right. That is the end of music. Thank you for everybody thank you to everyone who won an award tonight. And now let's shift over to our shorter section every year, because I'm so much more of a movie guy, and that is TV. So before we get into TV, I'm going to run down all the TV shows I watched this year. I mentioned on the last podcast that I was going to do that on that episode, but I think it makes more sense to also do it here, so I'm going to do that real quick. So in 2023, I watched, in January, I started Winning Time Season 1, I started The Last of Us Season 1, which is a 2023 release, and I started The White Lotus Season 1. In February, I started Outer Banks Season 3, which is a 2023 release. In March, I finished Outer Banks Season 3, and I finished The Last of Us Season 1. In May, I started Lego Ninjago Masters of Spinjitzu Season 1. I finished Lego Ninjago Masters of Spinjitzu Season 1, and I started Season 2 of it. Started Season 1 of Smallville, Season 1 of Peacemaker, Season 1 of my bad. I shouldn't have read that like that. So I started Season 1 of Smallville, I started Season 1 of Peacemaker, I finished Season 1 of Peacemaker, and I finished Season 1 of The Boys. You're asking, Ryan, you never started Season 1 of The Boys. Yeah, I did. It was like last October. July, I started Batman Beyond Season 1, and I started Justice League Season 1. In August, I started Dragon Ball Z Season 1, and I started Cowboy Bebop. They took Cowboy Bebop off Netflix, so I never got to finish it. The anime one, not the live action one. October, I started Burn Notice Season 1. November, I started Invincible Season 2, Part 1, which is a 2023 release. And then I started My Adventures of Superman Season 1, which is also a 2023 release. I started Castlevania Season 1, and I finished Castlevania Season 1. I finished Invincible Season 2, Part 1. And then in December, I finished Burn Notice Season 1, started Burn Notice Season 2, and finished Burn Notice Season 2. Thing is, with Invincible, I'm going to classify that as a 2024 show because it's not over yet, because they still have to release Part 2. So I don't want to classify as a 2023 show when we're only halfway through it. It just doesn't feel right. So Invincible Season 2 will be eligible for the 2024 best shows. All right. So we got 2 awards here tonight. First, we have the best TV show of 2023. So out of everything I watched that was a 2023 release, what did I enjoy the most? And I have to finish it. I can't just start it. So My Adventures of Superman is not eligible. Not eligible. So really there's like 2 shows, I think, eligible. 2 or 3. Not that many shows eligible. Now you're probably thinking it's going to be The Last of Us. I got a bit of a wild take here. It's Outer Banks Season 3. That's the best TV show from 2023. I'm serious. Best TV show of 2023. I know. Here's the thing with Outer Banks. Season 1 is probably one of my favorite seasons of any TV show. It's not a sitcom. Season 1 slaps. Season 2 is not good at all, and I really don't enjoy it. I watched it once, and I don't ever need to watch it again. Season 3 is significantly better. They got back to not stupid writing. Really that simple. They also finally killed Sarah Cameron's father. They've been dragging this shit out for 3 seasons. And so I think this season 1 best TV show of 2023 truly off the fact that they finally killed him. Because this dude has been faking his death for like 3 years. And I was just so ready for the show to end that plot line. The thing that pissed me off the most about the show is that they were so afraid to have to create new villains. Because when they made a new villain in season 2, she sucked. She wasn't interesting at all. And they only know how to write Rafe and her evil dad, Ward. And now they finally were like, okay, we're going to kill Ward. Thank the Lord. Oh my gosh. Thank the Lord, Ward is dead. I forget what's going on with Rafe at the end of the season. I genuinely can't think of it all of a sudden. But season 3 was really good, and it ends on a great note because season 4 will start a new treasure hunting plot, and I hope it slaps. Like, I really hope it's great. I honestly think it'd be really cool if from now on every season is a new treasure that they hunt. But, like, some of the villains can carry over. But it'd be really cool if it became, like, borderline anthology. Like, they all can connect, right? But, like, this season they go after the Blackbeard treasure. Then next season they go after, like, I don't know, El Dorado. I know it's been done a million times, but still, it'd be cool. Was last one technically El Dorado? Oh, no. Shambhala. Just steal from Uncharted. Something like that. That'd be cool if every season was a new thing. Like, I don't need the Blackbeard treasure to be stretched out for 2 to 3 seasons. Do it as one season. You can end with the villain, maybe the villain from this season, teasing them to come back next season, something like that. But that would be cool. I would enjoy if every season was like that. That'd be pretty great. But it is the best TV show of 2023. Congrats, Outer Banks Season 3, for making the show good again. Because I was scared that this show was only going to be one good season. Is Season 3 as good as Season 1? No, but it's pretty good. I really enjoy it. Last of Us is really good. Don't get me wrong. It's probably going to win some Emmys. But I liked Outer Banks Season 3 more. Sorry. Okay, best TV show I watched this year. The whole year, it was Peacemaker. The whole year. I love Peacemaker. One of my favorite shows. I finished Burn Notice Season 1. Like, yeah, I really enjoyed that. Made a video on it for the YouTube channel. You should go check that out if you want to. If not, don't check it out. I get it. Then I watched Burn Notice Season 2, which takes everything from the first season, except now you already know the characters well, you already know their interplay, adds a more interesting overarching narrative, a more interesting overarching villain, and it also has the best episode of the entire show in it. Like, I'm serious, easily the best episode of the entire show so far, which is Season 2, Episode 13, Bad Breaks. It is literally just Die Hard with Michael Weston, and it's absolutely incredible. Burn Notice Season 2 is the best TV show I watched in 2023. I'm serious, guys. It came in at the buzzer in December, and it was immaculate. Absolutely awesome. So, Burn Notice Season 2, congrats being the best show I watched this year. Everybody needs to watch Burn Notice. It's amazing. And yeah. Should also toss out, I really like Dragon Ball Z Kai. That's what I was watching. But then I never re-upped our Hulu subscription, so I just kind of stopped watching it. So, my favorite character was Piccolo. Okay. That was it for TV shows. Congrats to the winners. And now, let's go to the big one. The big category. The one everybody's been waiting for. And that's movies. Okay. So, I'm going to do the best films of 2023. Then I'll read off everything I watched. And then I'll do my top 32 movies. Yeah, that's right. 32 movies. Now, not all 32 are going in the Hall of Fame. But I do have 32 movies that I have to talk about. Because I just picked as many that I wanted to talk about. And what I considered the best. So I sat down at lunch the other day with G, and I said, all right, I'm going to pick out all the movies I feel like talking about, and then I'm going to decide which ones are Hall of Fame, and however many that is, that's how many I'm doing. And she was like, okay. And it ended up at 32. So, first, let's do the best films of 2023. I want to give out 2 honorable mentions, and that is the first one, to Air. I really liked Air. I enjoy this business movie that's a drama/comedy thing that's going on right now where they make, I mean, I know like Blackberry came out last year. I think the Tetris movie came out last year, 2 years ago. Moneyball is like the best one of these, easily. And like The Big Short is really good too. I guess those aren't like borderline comedies, but there's some really funny elements to some of these. But The Big Short and Moneyball are like the 2 best of these. But Air was trying to be that, and Air's really good. I really enjoy it. I really like when Ben Affleck directs a movie. I think he's really good. Matt Damon was in 2 really good movies this year because he's in this and Oppenheimer, and Oppenheimer's in the top 5. So just going to toss that out there. So Matt Damon, big year. He was in 2 really good movies. Air was really great. I saw this in April, and I was like, yeah, that's probably going to be one of the best of the year. And then this year just absolutely tore it up, so it did not make it in the top 5. Ben Affleck was great in this movie. There's a stacked cast. Viola Davis good in this, like she's good in everything. Jason Bateman's always great to see. Oh my gosh, Chris Tucker is in this? Rush Hour? Insane. It was wild that he was in this. I'm sure there's somebody else I'm forgetting that was good in this movie because everybody was good in this movie. And it was really fun. It's one of those movies that it also reminds me of Ford vs. Ferrari. It has that type of vibe. It reminds me of Ford vs. Ferrari. Also Matt Damon. But here's the thing. Ford vs. Ferrari, Big Short, and Moneyball are all better than this. This is still really good, but I like all those movies more than this. This movie is great, but it's not incredible. It's just pretty great. I don't know if great. Probably pretty good. I'd say pretty good. It's pretty good. Like, it's a great movie to watch with your dad. Like, your dad's going to be like, hell yeah. That's what your dad will think. So, the other honorable mention goes out to The Iron Claw. I saw this New Year's Eve day. I saw it at a 4:30 screening, got out. went to Wendy's drive-thru, and then drove to my New Year's Eve party I was going to. So that was my New Year's Eve day, and it was pretty epic. The movie was also really good, but it was also like, so G and I went to theater, and Anyone But You showed at 4:20, and this showed at 4:30. I think everybody that listens to this podcast knows I was very excited for the film Anyone But You. It's a rom-com with my boy Glenn Powell. I love Glenn Powell. When are they going to release that Hitman movie on Netflix? You know it's going to be, oh my gosh, I can't wait for that movie. It's going to be sweet. But, we went to the theater, and I was like, okay, it's New Year's Eve. Do we really want to watch a movie that's super depressing? Because she had been saying I should definitely watch The Iron Claw. I really like when Zac Efron's in movies. He's just an actor I really enjoy. I think he's an underrated actor. There's this brand of actor that's like, I'm usually a hunk in a comedy movie, and I really enjoy these actors because I'm like, you can do more than this, and I know you can. Like, Channing Tatum's one of those. I'm like, Channing Tatum is really funny. Like, he's genuinely very funny. He is funnier to me in the 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street movies than Jonah Hill. Like, Channing Tatum's very funny. Jonah Hill's a lot funnier in Superbad. Channing Tatum's really funny, and no one really talks about it. That's why The Lost City is, like, underrated as hell, because, like, he's great in that. But anyway, Zac Efron's also kind of like that, where I'm like, you can do so much more than what you do. I know you can, because I saw you in High School Musical 3 when you were doing the dance number to the song Scream, and the whole thing is twisting like it's Inception, and you're having a mental breakdown. Incredible. Cinema. High School Musical 3, whatever year I watch that movie, it will be going in the Hall of Fame. I should do a High School Musical run this year, because I guarantee 2, okay, I know 2 will legit go in the Hall of Fame. 3 might be a bit of a stretch, but I know the second one will go in. 3 might have to too, and 1. Maybe they just all go in. Oh my gosh. Maybe they all go in. I don't know where to go, what's the right team? I want my own thing, so bad I'm gonna scream. Oh my gosh. Why does no one talk about how that's like the best song? That is like 3's equivalent to Bet on It. I'm serious. Scream is so good. Oh man. Alright, so back to the Iron Claw. Zac Efron killed it in this movie. Also, the guy from The Bear is really good. I think his name is Jeremy Allen White. He was really good in this. It was a incredibly upsetting film, because that was the thing I said to G. I'm like, do we really want to watch this instead of a fun rom-com on New Year's Eve? Because we know it's going to be intense and upsetting. And she kind of wanted to see this more. And to be honest, I was really interested, because I'm like, at the worst case scenario, I can always stream Anyone But You. Whereas Iron Claw, I feel like, is going to be an interesting theater experience. And it really was. It was a very intense film, very upsetting film, but I'd say a very poignant film. I think it's the right use of that word, but very intense, exceptionally well crafted, and Zac Efron was very good in it. I honestly think he should get an Oscar nom. I don't hand out the Oscars. I hand out the Sword of Sportys, but I will just toss out there, Zac Efron should probably get an Oscar nom for this. Cillian Murphy should win it for Oppenheimer, though. I'm just saying. I'm just being straight up. So that was Iron Claw. It was good. It also had the dude from Mindhunter in it, so that was cool. Okay. Now we're into the top 5 films from 2023. Coming in at number 5, we got Oppenheimer. This was one of my mom's favorite movies ever. She read the whole book it was based off of, and she really loves it. I really like it. Christopher Nolan, for a while there, was my favorite director. When I was younger, it was Steven Spielberg, and then I got older, like 14 range, 14, 15, and I was like, this Nolan guy is my goat. Love Nolan. There's nobody like Nolan. Really, I saw Tenet in theaters. Really liked it. Still like Tenet. Then, just graduated from being a junior in high school, and I watched Pulp Fiction and Django Unchained in the span of like 2 weeks. And that was when I realized Quentin Tarantino is my boy. And to this day, Quentin's still my boy. I will admit, though, in 2023, I actually watched more David Fincher films than I did Quentin movies, which we'll get to later. I've become a big Fincher guy. Nolan's still one of my favorite directors, but I don't know if I like him or Fincher better. It's kind of tough. I did enjoy this much more than The Killer, though, so I will give Nolan benefit of the doubt. Maybe Nolan is still number 2. Still need to watch The Prestige. I know. Boo, boo. The guy who was yelling yay, hooray earlier is now giving me dirty looks, so this is really upsetting. Moneyball just left. Oh, my gosh. Moneyball just left the award show. It was so upset with me. The only member from the original Hall of Fame class that was in attendance tonight. This is completely embarrassing. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Sorry. Focus back up on the movie. So, Oppenheimer. This movie almost made $1 billion, and it is an R-rated biopic about a World War II scientist that is dialogue-driven and is nonlinear and has 2 of the most uncomfortable sex scenes in any movie ever. And it was a massive hit, and it's culturally significant, and it probably should win Best Picture. That's Oppenheimer. Insane that is that movie. Insane. Nolan said this is the most successful movie. I would completely agree. The fact that this movie is so successful is nutty. Like, absolutely nutty to me. Granted, it was helped by the whole Barbenheimer thing, but Barbie was also helped by that too. I do think they both... Barbie was going to make more money anyway, but they both helped each other make more money. So, without that, who knows how much Oppenheimer makes? It probably still makes $400 to $500 million. But $960 million, like almost $1 billion, and they're re-releasing it in January. It might hit $1 billion. That's insane. They're re-releasing it this month. Like, that's insane. Like, one of the biggest films of last year. And everybody in the world knows about this movie. Like, the fact that this movie is, like, common knowledge. Like, I could talk, when I go to college, like, I could go around the lunchroom, be like, hey, what'd you guys think of Oppenheimer? And that's not, like, a weird question. Like, if I walked around and was like, hey, what'd you guys think of The Killer? I'm going to get looks. Not good ones. Whereas if I was like, what'd you guys think of Oppenheimer? That's a fun question. Like, people are like, oh, here's what I thought, because everyone saw this movie. That's nuts. Also, the dude who, I think it's Jason Clarke's his name. That is a complete stab in the dark. That is literally just me guessing, because I think that's his name. He's the guy who's really into interrogating Oppenheimer. That scene is already iconic. When he's yelling at him in the interrogation room, the dude who was in Great Gatsby, who plays the mechanic who kills Gatsby in the end. I think Jason Clarke's his name. He's also in Winning Time. Jason Clarke. I'm checking this really quick because I do want to make sure it's him. Yeah, that's him. That scene is legitimately iconic in my mind. Like, when he's really yelling at him. It's a great scene. But the whole movie is incredible. There's a reason everybody goes nuts for it. They're definitely better analysis? Analysi? No, definitely not analysi, but there's definitely better analysis of it. Other places on YouTube. The fact that you're still listening to me and sitting here, I really appreciate. But yeah, Oppenheimer was really fun and very thought-provoking film. Robert Downey Jr. also proved to everybody that he is an incredible actor, and he's more than just an incredible Iron Man. And I'm proud of Robert for that. I hope Robert Downey Jr. continues to do interesting things. I can't wait for Nolan's next movie. He is the best director of the 21st century. As much as I like Quentin Tarantino, as much as I like David Fincher, Nolan's ability to make culturally significant but yet also very art-filled, like classic, I don't want to say classical, but like I think classical films. They're classical in my eyes because he has something to say with every one of his movies. He's trying to say something. He's an old school filmmaker that makes popular films. He made a biopic feel like a blockbuster, and that is incredibly special. And I think it is going to be a long time. I don't know when we'll see another filmmaker like this. Because as much as I like Spielberg and as much as I would liken Nolan to Spielberg, I don't believe Schindler's List made an insane amount of money. I should check. Because that would really, because I'm saying Schindler's List is a very intense film. I'm trying to figure out how to spell Schindler's List. There it is. I can spell list. It's just the Schindlers. Oh, that did make good money. Wow. Okay, never mind. I guess I would liken him to Spielberg then. I'm right to liken him like that. It's very rare to find a filmmaker like that can make movies that have something to say and they resonate with they resonate with people because they're so quality. And the fact that Nolan is able to draw people in because of quality is insane. He is the definition of quality when it comes to filmmaking. And I'm just so happy that he is so successful because there's a lot of great directors that movies don't make a lot of money. I mean, Killers of the Flower Moon is not on this list, but it was really good. Really great movie. Probably it's one of the best movies I've watched from Martin Scorsese. It's The Departed still wins. But not every Scorsese movie is making big money. I think Wolf of Wall Street. Actually, no. Whoa. Wolf of Wall Street's his best. Sorry. Departed is second. Just whoa. I had to stop myself. Wolf of Wall Street's his best. Departed is second. Wolf of Wall Street's like one of his only movies. It's really big money-wise. Like, it made a lot of money. Everybody knows Goodfellas, but everybody that knows Goodfellas is like 40. No one my age talks about Goodfellas. Wolf of Wall Street is like Scorsese's one that like everybody knows. Whereas Nolan, everybody knows the Dark Knight films he made. Everybody knows Oppenheimer. Interstellar's really big, which is insane to me that movie's so big. But I spent a lot more time talking about Oppenheimer than I thought I would. It's really great. Excellent. There's reasons it's been talked about all year. That's why it's number 5. Coming in at number 4, I enjoyed it more. That's Barbie. I love a movie that can break the conventions of a film. That is why the Lego Movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. When a movie plays with your expectation of what a movie can be, that's what I love. And Barbie is it's a triumph of cinema. I'm being honest. I know it sounds like it would be the cover of that'd be like a blurb on the Variety cover for Barbie. A triumph of cinema. But that's honestly what I feel like. I watched a lot of movies with Ryan Gosling this year. I really did. When I run through my movies this year, there's like 5 with him in it. And he's become one of my favorite actors, much like many people who went and saw this movie. I loved him as Ken, and he stole the show. I don't know if he really stole the show, because Margot Robbie was obviously perfect as Barbie. But this movie was the definition of fun. But it was also another insanely quality movie. This movie had something to say. I loved the satire from it. It hit me a little bit in the heart. They made fun of people loving The Godfather too much, but it's also accurate. And the fact that this movie, I just love, I love everything about how this movie rocks. Like, the over-the-top costume design, the fact that the fact that, you're watching the movie and all of a sudden big dance number for the whole Kennergy dance number. Like, the fact that they're doing that is insane. It does things that most movies don't do. It was funny because my grandparents watched this movie. I know. And my grandpa was like, I just didn't really get it. And it didn't really surprise me at all, because I'm like, when you're used to watching, it is the opposite of a standard movie. There's not many movies that are just going to break the fourth wall, and they have the narrator, and they do a dance number, and just there's so much going on in this movie that a standard film would not do, and you can't go into it with the lens of watching. I'm trying to think, what's a good movie, but it's a standard film? Like Jurassic Park. It's a really amazing movie, but it is never doing anything out of the box. And I'm saying not out of the box. Like, it's got excellent filmmaking techniques. Don't get me wrong. Like, Spielberg kills that movie. That's one of his best movies. I love Jurassic Park. Seriously, a classic. But I'm saying Jurassic Park never looks at the camera. Jurassic Park's never doing a narrator thing. Jurassic Park is never pulling you out of the film in order to enhance the narrative. And that's what's interesting about Barbie, is it pulls you out of the movie in order to get you more into it, which is really interesting. So, yeah. I think I've talked before on this podcast. My favorite joke of all time from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is when they're all talking about how rich they are, and Will Smith looks at the camera and says, if we so rich, why can't we afford no ceiling? And the camera turns up, and it shows all the lights at the NBC studio where they filmed. Hilarious. That is the type of joke Barbie would make. So that's why it's 4th best movie of the year. Coming in at number 3 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This movie didn't make $1 billion. I think it probably would have if they would have released it 2 or 3 years ago, because it is one of the MCU's biggest triumphs. I use the triumph with back-to-back movies. I need to stop. But the fact that the MCU is, in my mind, the jewel of the MCU is the Guardians of the Galaxy, which is just wild. The characters that basically everyone knew nothing about, me included. I didn't know about any of these characters before this movie. I read comic books, and I didn't even know about these guys. But apparently I don't read enough comic books. They, gosh, an incredible trilogy. I think the first one's obviously the best. Second one I really like, and then the third one is amazing. It's honestly pretty close to the first one in terms of quality in my eyes. It was a perfect end to an incredible trilogy, and the music's obviously amazing in this one too. And I just cannot wait to see what James Gunn can do with the DCU. I'm just so excited for the DCU because James Gunn is the best superhero director out there, bar none, easily. And this movie, he did everything he wanted to do with these characters, and you could tell, and it was great. It was really hard because this was actually ranked 2nd originally, and then I flipped it 2 days ago when I was thinking about it, because I really, really love this movie, but I think I love the second one more. Not the second one, like the second Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm saying the movie that I ranked 2nd best movie of 2023. And that's because I think, part of the reason I think I put the movie at 2nd that I did is because not very many people talk about this movie, so it made me want to put it even higher, I think. If we're being really honest, it's probably one on. So Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is number 3. Coming in at number 2, we have what I don't understand, more people don't talk about being one of the best movies from this year, and that is Creed 3. I absolutely love the Rocky movies. Rocky 4 is my favorite. Right after that is Creed 1, and then honestly, I think Creed 3 is now 3rd. Creed 3 is Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut, and what a hell of a debut. He brought in Dragon Ball influence into the series, which I didn't know I needed, but when they fight and the crowd goes away, I know some people didn't like that. I loved it. I thought it was really cool. Creed 3 is awesome. Just awesome. I cannot wait for the 4th one. What I really love about Creed 3 is that the first two... Okay, so the first Creed is all about Adonis and his father's legacy, along with Rocky as a trainer. Actually, it's honestly more about... The first one is a lot about Rocky as a trainer, right? I would say the second one is about Adonis's legacy with his father and how Rocky connects to that legacy. So the first one is more his relationship with Rocky. The second one is more his relationship with his father, because he never knew his father. The third one, Rocky's not in it, which is weird. But once you get past that, it becomes a very personal tale for Adonis and about his relationship to his past. And that's really interesting. We've been around Adonis for 2 movies now, but now let's delve into what really makes him tick. And it is a little uncomfortable that Jonathan Majors plays the bad guy, now that we know Jonathan Majors himself is a bad guy. But at least you're rooting against him in this film, so it doesn't make you feel too uncomfortable. But, it is kind of weird. But Jonathan Majors does kill it as the bad guy, I'm not going to lie. He is perfect as the villain for this movie. And this movie was just a straight-up amazing time. It's one of those I need to buy on Blu-ray because I need to rewatch it. Because this movie was really good. And I know they're making a 4th one. I know Michael B's directing again. He did a great job with this one. And these movies deserve nothing but success because the Creed movies are awesome. That's why it's the 2nd best movie of the year. Let's go to number 1. A movie that is automatically put into the Hall of Fame. And even if it wasn't, I think it genuinely... Here's the thing with this movie. If it wasn't automatically put in the Hall of Fame, it probably would be the best movie of this year, period. Like, not just released in 2023. I mean, everything I watched this year, this was genuinely the best movie I watched all year. I think it might have an argument. The top 2 for my best movies I watched this year might stand over it. I don't even know about that, to be honest. This movie might just flat out be the best movie I watched all year, but I don't have to rank it with everything because it's automatically put in the Hall of Fame, and that is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It's the best superhero movie ever made. Just want to say it. The fact that it plays with your expectations of what a Spider-Man... It takes the cliches and expectations you have of a Spider-Man story and says, yeah, those expectations and cliches are for a reason, and it weaves that into a larger narrative, and it plays off what you expect to happen by saying that's not what should happen when you're Miles. Miles is like, I don't want this to happen, and you feel like it's inevitable, just the way everyone else that's part of the Spider Society does. It takes your expectation of the film and uses it against you to weave a narrative, and that's just insane levels of writing. Lord and Miller are absolute goats when it comes to writing. They wrote the Lego Movie, which is an absolute classic. So they've been cooking with these Spider-Verse films. It's obviously very upsetting, the whole thing with the animators being crunched for time and everything. That's rough. I want them to take their time for the last one because I don't want them to be, like have really hard labor. That's terrible. But Beyond the Spider-Verse, whenever it comes out, I think will be even better than this, which is insane to me. I mean, just based off the art style and music alone, this movie is one of the best movies of the year. And then toss in the fact that it's got one of the best superhero villains ever as in the spot. And Spider-Man 2099 is also an incredible character. What they did to him in this film is obviously very different than what goes on in the comics with him. But I love the interpretation of him. I thought it was really cool. And his song is gas. I mean, his theme is so good. So, I mean, gosh. There's a reason I did a whole podcast episode off this, because this movie is just so good. I mean, is there really anything? I'm trying to think if there's anything else to say. It's like, if you saw this movie, you know what I'm talking about. Now, I will say, there are some people that prefer Into the Spider-Verse more than this. I get that. I think they're very different films. They're both going for different things. I actually don't love Into the Spider-Verse that much. I think it's really good, but when I saw it, I was like, this is probably like the third or fourth best Spider-Man movie. I like Homecoming, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 1, and maybe No Way Home more than it. Which I know is probably crazy, but that's just genuinely how I feel. Whereas this movie, Across the Spider-Verse, I think is the best Spider-Man movie. So, yep. I'm just being honest, guys. But, yeah, it's best superhero movie ever made. It's so good, and the sequel is going to be even better. And the Spot, like I said, is just the best villain. So, yeah, Across Spider-Verse, best movie 2023. All right, I'm going to run through every movie I watched in 2023, and then we're going to do the big ranking. So here we go. 2023 in film for me. In January, I watched Hail Caesar, Marriage Story, The Nice Guys, Dunkirk, Boogie Nights, Crazy Rich Asians. February, I watched The Hidden Fortress, Top Gun Maverick, Fool's Gold, Overboard, A Knight's Tale, Hard Eight, Licorice Pizza, Interstellar, Magnolia, Mr. Mom, and 21 Bridges. In March, I watched Creed, Creed 2, Creed 3, Bloodsport, Hustle, Cobra, Nobody, Bullet Train, First Blood, RRR, True Lies, From Dusk Till Dawn, Kindergarten Cop, Total Recall, Escape from New York, and Forrest Gump. April, I watched The Green Mile, Pretty Woman, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, Full Metal Jacket, Mad Max Fury Road, The Great Gatsby, Air, and How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. In May, I watched The Wrath of Man, Apocalypse Now, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Rock, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, The Suicide Squad, North by Northwest. In June, I watched Reservoir Dogs, Jackie Brown, 51st Dates, Tropic Thunder, Bedtime Stories, The Menu, Major League, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. July, I watched Pride and Prejudice, Yojimbo, The Northman, I Love You Man, Barbie, and Oppenheimer. August, I watched Happy Gilmore. September, I watched Get Shorty, Beverly Hills Cop 2, and The Creator. October, I watched Superbad, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Crazy Stupid Love, The Big Short, Get Out, La La Land, The Conjuring, Gone Girl, Seven, My Best Friend's Wedding, Killers of the Flower Moon, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. And November, I watched The Killer, The Social Network, Scream, Watchmen, Anchorman, Legend of Ron Burgundy, 48 Hours, Hunger Games Catching Fire, Hunger Games Battle of Songbirds and Snakes, and The Muppet Movie. December, I watched The Adventures of Tintin, Ocean's 11, Jaws, True Romance, Die Hard, Dune, Chinatown, and The Iron Claw. Whew! Okay, so let's run it down for everybody that doesn't know how this works. When I watch a movie, I put it on the list of movies I watched that year. At the end of the year, I compile my list of the best movies of the year. If you get inducted into the Hall of Fame, like Megamind did last year, if I rewatch Megamind in 2024, I do not write it down on the movies I watched because he is put into the Hall of Fame. He is no longer eligible to be put in again. When Harry Met Sally is in the Hall of Fame, I watched that movie, I think, 5 times this year. It is obviously not in the best movies I watched in 2023 because of the fact Harry Met Sally is already in the Hall of Fame. So it just keeps me from talking about the same movies all the time. Which means technically I shouldn't have listed Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse for movies I watched in 2023 or Across because they both were automatically put in the Hall of Fame because every Spider-Man movie is in the Hall of Fame automatically just so then, I don't have to put all the Spider-Man movies in sometime because that's dumb. I love them. But, it's also weird, that rule, because it kind of doesn't make sense because The Amazing Spider-Mans really shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, but I just didn't feel like making an exception, so they're in there. And technically, all the Indiana Jones movies are in, which means Dial of Destiny is also automatically in, even though it's definitely not in the Hall of Fame, but it's just easier than making exceptions. So let's run down the Hall of Fame from the original class and then last year's. So the first inductees are all the Spider-Man movies and all the Indiana Jones movies, Beverly Hills Cop, the Lego Movie, and Moneyball. It's the first inductees ever. I just automatically put those films in. There was obviously some other movies that I consider some of my favorite movies that I didn't put in, but I just thought, you know what, I'll wait and talk about them, and I'll rank them along other things I watch in a year. 2022 Hall of Fame class, we had Megamind, 10 Things I Hate About You, The Batman, Casablanca, Terminator 1, Shawshank Redemption, When Harry Met Sally, Pulp Fiction, The Wolf of Wall Street, and Django Unchained, which was Movie of the Year. This year, we are putting a lot of movies in the Hall of Fame. We're putting 25 in, so let's talk about the top 32 movies I watched. Once we get to number 25, those will be Hall of Famers. What is the Hall of Fame? Basically, it is just my favorite movies. My favorite movies of all time compiled. It is, if you ask me what definitively is my favorite movie, I would tell you Beverly Hills Cop. But there's honestly an argument for Django Unchained and Lego Movie. There's arguments for anything that's really in the Hall of Fame. So if you're in the Hall of Fame, it means you're a favorite of mine. And basically, if I put you in the Hall of Fame, it's because if somebody starts talking about a movie and I say, oh, that's a favorite of mine, that should be in the Hall of Fame. Which I know, you're like, Ryan, after this run, you're going to have like 40 movies in the Hall of Fame. I watch a lot of movies. There's a lot of movies that are favorites of mine. It's really all it is. All right, let's start off the list for the top 32 movies I watched in 2023. Coming in at 32, the last movie I felt like I had something to say, and that is Crazy Rich Asians. Crazy Rich Asians is a super, it's like a vacation of a film. Last year is when I really discovered, last year as in 2022, so 2 years ago was when I really discovered that I really enjoy rom-coms. And so at the beginning of 2023, I definitely was like, okay, let's start watching more rom-coms since I enjoy them so much. Crazy Rich Asians was the first rom-com I watched in 2023, and the fact that it stuck with me the whole year says a lot. What's very interesting about it is that the main character is being introduced to this whole new culture through the Crazy Rich Asians. And much like her, you're completely introduced to it. And so she's just as like it uses the main character as the gateway for the watcher into the narrative, if that makes sense. So you're learning about this culture just like she is, and you're interested in the things she's interested in, and you feel like you're on a vacation and on a date with Henry Golding just like she does. And that's really fun. It's fun how the movie makes you feel like you're a part of it. And I really like that about Crazy Rich Asians. It also had like a stacked cast, but Michelle Yeoh's in this movie. That's cool. So, yeah, this movie was, it was just that, I mean, it's a perfect movie for an airplane. It's been a perfect movie to watch, like, if I was on a long flight. It's, like, fun, but it also has some intensity. It's like a drama, but it's funny. It's a romance, but it does have a little bit of drama. It's a great, it'd be a great, like I said, great flight movie. Perfect flight movie. It's like a vacation inside of a film. And there's something to be said about that. All right, at 31, we have The Green Mile. This movie's directed by Frank Darabont, same guy that directed Shawshank Redemption, and they do have some similar vibes, both off of Stephen King's stories, and both obviously about prisons. So Shawshank Redemption is from the perspective of an inmate. Green Mile's from the perspective of a guard. As Tom Hanks does a really great job as the guard. This was the year that I really started to respect Tom Hanks as an actor more. I hadn't really watched a ton of Tom Hanks movies. Really, one of the only ones I'd watched much of is Toy Story movies and Turner and Hooch. I really like Turner and Hooch. And I've seen some of Big on TV. I have it taped. I just haven't watched it all yet. But between this and a movie I have ranked higher, really was impressed with Tom Hanks this year. But really the guy who steals the show, and this is Michael Clark Duncan, rest in peace, as one of the main inmate. I can't remember the name all of a sudden. I really should. I feel dumb that I can't, but I can't. There's a guy in this movie. Here's the thing about The Green Mile. Very emotional trip of a film. If you told me you watched all the same movies as me this year, which, props. I watched over 100, so props to you. And you said The Green Mile was your number one best movie of the year, I'd get it. It's that good. Why is it not higher for me? I really like it. It's just not a favorite of mine. It's just not. This movie made me feel intense emotions, though. This scene. Oh, also Sam Rockwell's in it, and he's awesome. So, but he's also a terrible person in this. Like, I really don't like him in this, but that was kind of his job in this. So there's a little man in this, and I say little man because he's not very tall, and he's not a short king because I hate him. I think I hate him more than anyone in any film ever. Like, he is up there for me. I've seen movies with more likable serial killers. I'm serious. This guy was terrible, and I cannot stand him. And there was a scene in this movie. If you've seen the movie, you know the guard I'm talking about that I hate. If you've seen this movie, you know that the scene I'm talking about. I was literally sitting in the Lazy Boy, put the chair down, leaned forward, and started screaming at the TV. I was so mad. I usually don't do that. That is what my sister does when she watches reality TV dating shows. That is not what I do. I do not usually yell at the TV about, like, what I'll do is I'll be watching a movie and I'll go, "Oh, this is incredible." When I really like a movie, I will start talking out loud. It's I don't know. There's some movies later on that I literally can remember what I said while watching them. If a movie's really drawn me in, I will talk to myself about the movie. Not a lot, but just little things. Hardly ever do I scream in anger at the TV, and I did it for Green Mile. So the fact that it got human emotion out of me is incredible. It's like I say all the time. What is the goal of a movie? To make you feel something. This movie definitely made me feel something. Like, if you're making a movie and you feel nothing from it, then that's not a good movie. So, the goal of a film is make you feel something, and this movie definitely made me do that. At number 30, we got Oppenheimer. I talked about Oppenheimer a lot earlier. That's why it's here at number 30. Coming in at number 29, Ocean's 11. It's funny because I really like Soderbergh, and I talked about it before. Hopefully Out of Sight is his movie that he's made is really for me, but I got to read the Elmore Leonard novel before I watch it. But Ocean's 11, I think if you listen to my review on the podcast that I first watched this on, like, I think it's like episode like 77, maybe 77, 76 of the podcast. But It's in the Ramblings of Reels and Writing section, but I think I'm the only person that's ever watched this movie and thought, I liked this more before they started the heist. Because when it's a character-driven, like, drama comedy movie, I am so here for it. And then it becomes a heist film, and I'm like, okay, well, it was fun. It's not that heist is bad. It's a great heist. Don't get me wrong. It's an exciting film. It's probably the best. It's probably one of the best movies that if somebody was like, "Hey, what do you want to watch tonight?" I'd be like Ocean's 11 because it's one of those. It's a crowd pleaser. Everybody can enjoy this movie. But I just liked it so much more when you had George Clooney as I almost said Frank Ocean, Danny Ocean. Oh, man. You had George Clooney as Danny Ocean flirting with Julia Roberts, trying to get her back because he still loves her. You got the dude from The Untouchables being the bad guy who runs the casino. You got Brad Pitt just being great in it. And I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed all the other side characters. I love seeing Bernie Mac and stuff. He's great. And then once it becomes a heist movie, I'm just a little... I don't check out, but I don't like it as much. I like it when it's a character-driven story instead of a plot-driven one. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Probably is. I feel like I gave a lot of criticism. What's good about Ocean's 11? Literally everything. Soderbergh cooks. This movie cooks. This movie's fun. Like I said, one of the best movies. Just if you want something fun to watch, pretty much no one on the planet is going to fully dislike this movie. I'm probably one of its biggest haters, and I still really love this movie, and I'll probably watch it within the next 3 months. Number 28, we got Total Recall. Last year was the year that I also decided I enjoy Schwarzenegger more than I enjoy Stallone. Sorry about that. When it comes to action movies, I love Stallone in the Rocky movies, but I gotta admit, Schwarzenegger, I think, beats him when it comes to action movies. I watch a lot of action movies with Arnold. True Lies is almost on the best movies. It was almost in the top 32, but I decided I couldn't quite put it over Total Recall. I mean, I obviously could have put it in just on 33, but I like the other movies more. I like Oppenheimer, Green Mile, and Crazy Rich Asians more. But Total Recall feels very ahead of its time. It's a very interesting sci-fi action movie that they did remake, and I've never heard anything good about, or have I really heard anything about it. The only thing I've ever heard is that it's not very good. But I think Colin Farrell's in it. Arnold really actually acts in this, and it's starting this is like his kindergarten cop range when he really starts to really cook. I know it's probably most people consider that like the last big run. It's like that, Last Action Hero, this, True Lies, and then he's starts Terminator 2. But that's his second breath. It's like he's got the first big run where it's it starts with T1, then he has Raw Deal, Commando, The Running Man, Predator, and all those. And then you get the second run right after that. I mean, it's all one big run, but I feel like there's a bit of a split there in my mind. I don't know. I think the second run, he has to act a little more. Total Recall is just cool. It's honestly if you said what's a fun sci-fi action movie to watch, this one would be the first I recommend to you. Sharon Stone's in it, and that's always great to see too. So, this is also a movie that has the three-boobed lady, which is actually kind of horrifying. I'm not going to lie. It is not pleasant to look at. It's something about the symmetry of it, I think. There's a woman with 3 boobs in it, and it's really horrifying. It is not... It's weird. Your brain is knows it's off. It's pretty terrible. So, that's an interesting fact about the movie. What else do I like about Total Recall? I love the ending. Also, Ronnie Cox as the villain is just wild to me. And that is the one thing that takes me out. I'm what is... what is Bogomil doing here? Bogomil, come on, man. You can chill out. But no, the ending of this movie is interesting because it's kind of open-ended. It's a bit of a trip of a movie, but I like the trip. So, I like the trip of this movie. I don't like to trip. That's not... No. But I like the open-ended nature of it. It's very interesting. I think it's written by the same guy. The book it's based off of, I think, is from Philip K. Dick, who wrote Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which is what Blade Runner is based off of. I really need to watch Blade Runner. Also, Ryan Gosling's in the second one, so this really should cook for me. I really need to watch those. But all right, on to number 27, The Muppet Movie. Oh my gosh, The Muppet Movie is so ahead of its time. You want to talk about a movie that breaks film rules and breaks the fourth wall and does hilarious stuff. The Muppet Movie. The Muppet Movie reminds me a lot of Barbie and the Lego Movie, which are movies I love. The Muppet Movie was borderline Hall of Fame. We've only got one more movie until we get to the Hall of Fame because I said we're putting 25 in. Muppet Movie, I honestly almost put in the Hall of Fame. I really love the Muppet Movie. I might rewatch it next year and put it in. I love the Muppets. Huge Muppets guy right here. The Great Muppet Caper, Muppets in Manhattan, Muppet Treasure Island was one of my favorite movies. I love Muppet Treasure Island. Whatever year I watch that, it's definitely going in the Hall of Fame. I know it is. Love Muppet Treasure Island. Muppet Christmas Carol is also excellent. It's like the best Christmas Carol movie. I'm being legit. There is no better version of the Christmas Carol. Michael Caine plays Scrooge. Oh, it's incredible. Oh my gosh, I love the Muppet movies. One of their only movies I haven't seen is I haven't seen Most Wanted because I heard bad things and I didn't really want to see it and be upset. And then I haven't seen their like Wizard of Oz movie they made. I've seen Muppets in Space. That's pretty gas. Where Gonzo finds his family. It's awesome. But yeah, the first Muppet movie is amazing. Orson Welles cameos in it. It's just Mel Brooks is in it for a minute. It's just super fun. It feels like something I'd write because it's just off the wall, making fun of other movies, having fun inside the genre. It's got a great Western scene. It's just completely fun. I love this movie. I watched it for the first time when I was like 4 or 5. I've loved it ever since, and I'm so glad it held up on a rewatch. The music's still banging. I mean, absolutely banging music. It also has one of the funniest jokes ever, which is when they're in the bar fight, and Fozzie says, "Free drinks on the house." I'm not finishing the joke because you got to watch the movie yourself because it's hilarious. And Fork in the Road is also a pretty funny joke too. So, oh, and Big Bird, the Big Bird joke's funny too. Oh my gosh. So yeah, this movie's hilarious. I love this movie. Muppet Movie, great movie. Coming in at number 26, our last movie before we get to the Hall of Fame, and that is another rom-com. Oh my gosh, Ryan. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Steve Martin's also in Muppet Movie. He's great in it too. Sorry. All right, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. This movie, it was like the start of like the 2000s rom-com run. And those movies, there's some real not good movies in there. But this one is good. Kate Hudson is a great rom-com girl. Like, she's perfect for rom-coms. She's very funny in her roles, and I think she does really well in rom-coms. She's very funny. Matthew McConaughey, great rom-com guy. Super charming, very funny. Kate Hudson's like both of them are like the perfect amount of attractive. It's like you can see them together, and you're like, that makes sense. There's some rom-coms where you're like, you would not be with him. Usually it's the him that's the you would not be with him. I'm like, I don't care how likable his personality is. You would not be with him. I'm sorry. It's just reality. This movie doesn't have that. Matthew McConaughey, he became a rom-com guy for a reason for a minute there. Not a minute, it was like 10 years. For a while there, because he is great in this. And you guys know I love Matthew McConaughey in literally everything. I need to watch True Detective. Oh, man. This movie's super fun. It's just the definition of a fun rom-com. Is it as good as When Harry Met Sally? No. But granted, what is? It's really great. I don't really have too much of a deep breakdown on the fact that I watched this movie and I smiled like most of the film. And like I said before, a movie's supposed to make you feel something. This movie makes me feel happy, and that's good. I recommend How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. You'll have a great time. All right, we're officially going into the movies that are in the Hall of Fame. So coming in at number 25, 25th best movie I watched this year, we've got RRR. This movie's insane. This movie is a Tollywood blockbuster. This is like the Avengers overseas. Like this is like insane. This was like a huge thing. And I know the director of this is another big movie called like Bahubali or something like that. It's like a 2-part epic movie. I know I need to check that out. As soon as RRR did the massive dance number. Here's the thing with your movies. If you're making a movie and you have a dance number in it, odds are I'm going to love you. Ferris Bueller, one of my favorite movies, has a dance number in it. I said the parade sequence in my mind is a dance number. So this movie has a dance number. Barbie has a dance number in it. If you got a dance number, I'm going to love it. Lego Movie, dance number. I'm just saying. RRR has a dance number, winning. Also, here's the thing with me watching a foreign film. I don't watch a lot of foreign films. I really don't. If you count The Good, Bad, and the Ugly and like the Fistful of Dollars in those, that's like some of the only ones I watch. And then I watch Akira Kurosawa movies because I think he's really good and I really enjoy samurai movies. I know I need to watch some of his movies that aren't samurai movies, but I haven't gotten around to it. I know I haven't watched Parasite yet either. I know Parasite's supposed to be really good. I know. I probably should watch it before Mickey 17 because I'm starting to think I'm going to have to go see that. Anyways, RRR. If you can convey intense emotion and character to me without even me understanding the language you're speaking, you're working on another level. And everyone in RRR did that. That's pretty awesome. It is also an epic movie. It is a historical epic, and the definition of epic. It is awesome. It's like a superhero movie meets History Channel meets Disney Channel musical, and I love it, and it's awesome. And I don't even know what to say. It is an insane movie, like definition of bonkers. And the more bonkers it got, the more and more I loved it. So RRR. You came out in 2022. I watched the first time in 2023. Woke up on a snow day, sat down, watched the whole thing because you're like 3 hours and 7 minutes. If it's actually 3 hours and 7 minutes on the dot, that's incredible that I just guessed that. I genuinely am not looking at it. I'm looking at the notes app on my phone. So if you feel like checking that, you should. And if I'm wrong, dang it. But if I'm right, holy crap. But RRR, everybody needs to watch this movie. Everybody, literally everybody on the planet. It's awesome. It's bonkers. I love that it's bonkers. And that's why it's going into the Hall of Fame. Coming in at number 24, we got Major League. It's one of my favorite movies to watch with my dad. There's something about baseball. It is the best sport to make a movie on. Golf is the best sport to make comedy of. Because Caddyshack and Happy Gilmore are both undefeated. But baseball is the best overall because it's the second best for comedy, Bull Durham and Major League. And it is just the best overall because you can make great dramas with it, like Moneyball. Bad News Bears is fun, too. Major League, I mean, the only problem with Major League is Tom Berenger is a little creepy, the way he kind of stalks his ex-girlfriend. And when you're watching it, you're kind of like, okay, let's not follow her to her house. Okay. But other than that, hilarious film. It's got the guy from Allstate in it, and I love it when he's in it, and he's funny. And Wesley Snipes, I love him in this movie. I really like Wesley Snipes in like everything. Blade, this, Demolition Man. I love Demolition Man. Demolition Man is so great. And Wesley Snipes is great in this. Willie Mays Hayes. An exceptional character. Charlie Sheen's great in this too, and it's just a fun movie. It's full of character, and that's what you love. It's got the guy from Hoosiers that's in every movie ever as the one pitcher. He's in this. He's the one who said, "You're saying Jesus Christ can't throw a curveball." Comedy gold. Major League's hilarious. I love Major League. I watch this movie like 3 times every year. It's going in the Hall of Fame. Coming in at number 23, coming from the director I watched more than any other director this year, David Fincher. This is one of his 2 movies that I watched this year. It's going to the Hall of Fame, and that is Seven. I really debated whether or not I was going to put Seven in the Hall of Fame. It was kind of tough for me, I'm not going to lie. Truly just because the scene, It's not the scene up. It's the scene right after they discover what went on with Lust. And the guy is interrogated on what happened. That scene just makes my stomach churn. And it makes me exceptionally uncomfortable. And that scene is so intense that it honestly makes me not want to put it in the Hall of Fame. Which I understand the point of the scene is make you uncomfortable. I get that. But here's the thing. I don't like horror movies because I don't enjoy being scared. I don't enjoy being made exceptionally uncomfortable by a movie. And this movie does do that. But I can't deny how much I do really enjoy this film. Overall, and like I said, it's not a bad scene. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's making you uncomfortable. I just don't enjoy being made uncomfortable. The ending is perfect. Obviously, an incredibly iconic ending. Morgan Freeman, excellent in this movie. I love Brad Pitt in like every movie. It's funny because I used to say I'm like I don't know why people like Brad Pitt so much. I really don't. And then over time, he's now probably one of my favorite actors. I love Brad Pitt in every movie. I don't know why I ever hated on him. Doesn't make any sense. The Nikola Jokic of movies for me. But yeah, the ending quote always sticks with me. And this movie also introduced me to the idea that I will say anytime I talk about David Fincher movies, because I think I actually feel pretty smart for figuring this out. I'm not going to lie. And I'm going to toot my own horn a little bit. I say as I run down 25 movies I watched this year that I really liked. I just want to say, if you listen to all this and you find my opinions as interesting, I really appreciate it. Because, you probably have different opinions on movies than me, and you're just interested to hear mine. And that means a lot. So, just want to toss that out there, because I'm doing this for the fun of it, and if you find it interesting, I really appreciate that. But anyway, I'm going to say my thing about the Fincher, which is Fincher makes movies about good people being corrupted in a bad world, whereas Scorsese makes movies about bad people corrupting an innocent world. And I think that Fincher's is more interesting. I think the idea that the world is filled with good people, and those people being torn apart by the world is very interesting. And also a little more hopeful. And the ending quote of this film really reflects that when he says, "The world is a fine place and worth fighting for." And Morgan Freeman says, "I agree with the second part." I think it's Hemingway that said that. It's really interesting. It's a perfect end to this film. It's going into the Hall of Fame. Coming in at number 22, we got Barbie. Talked about before that I love this movie. And it definitely deserves to go in the Hall of Fame. I watched it and in theaters, and as soon as it hit the "Can You Feel the Kenergy" dance number, I knew it was an instant classic going into the Hall of Fame. Number 21, we got Forrest Gump. It's become cool to hate on this movie. I don't know why. This movie's beloved for a reason. I understand it won Best Picture over Shawshank Redemption and Pulp Fiction, two movies that are better than this. That doesn't take away the fact this movie's damn good. Like, this movie is like a real life fairy tale. It takes you on a whimsical fantasy journey of this exceptionally nice, good person who goes through American history, and that's incredibly fun. It is an incredibly fun concept, and I really love this film, and I love Tom Hanks' performance in it, and everybody loves to quote this movie, but the quote that sticks with me the most is when he said, "Mama always said," I'm paraphrasing, I can't remember the exact wording, but he says, "Eventually you get enough money, you just start showing off." That is so accurate, it's so accurate. I think about that all the time when I go to, rich people's, when I'm driving through, rich areas of Columbus, and people just have, random stuff. I just think about that quote, where it's so true. People get enough money, they just don't really know what to do, so you just kind of start showing off, because, what else am I going to do with it? That's incredibly interesting, and I don't know if it's incredibly interesting as much as it's incredibly true, and I keep that in mind. And I don't know, there's a lot of genius sprinkled throughout this film, and that's one of the lines. Forrest Gump, I've seen it 4 or 5 times in the span of 1 year. I don't really get tired of it. It's great. It's going into the Hall of Fame. Up next, at number 20, we got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I said before, this was a perfect end to the trilogy, the best superhero movie trilogy. I love what this did. I think this is also one of the best looking MCU films. He put so much personality into the design of this, and the soundtrack is really good too, because all these movies have good soundtracks. But do you realize? Oh my gosh. Do you realize it's so good? It's such a good song. I mean, everybody knows Creep by Radiohead's a banger, but Do You Realize being in this was also awesome. I've never heard that song for this movie, and now I love that song. So, yeah, Hall of Fame. 19, we got Mad Max Fury Road, baby. Mad Max Fury Road. All right, you know the meme on Twitter where it's like dudes will see this and be like, hell yeah? That's me with Mad Max Fury Road. I watched the movie, I'm like, hell yeah. This movie's sick. I'd seen Mad Max 1. I'd seen Mad Max 2, Road Warrior. I haven't seen Thunderdome. I'd seen both those before this. I watched this movie, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. This is sick. Obviously, Charlize Theron kills it as Furiosa. Really like Tom Hardy as Mad Max. I know some people get on him. I think he's good. I'm going to be honest. Immortan Joe, just like a great villain. This movie is so weird, but I love it. And it's also one of the best looking movies ever made. I'm serious. There's a couple movies up here that I think are also really good, but I don't know if they're better looking than this. This movie even looks good in black and white. So if you ever watch it in the black and white, well, it's black and chrome is what it says because it's like cars. But if you ever watch that, you'll still be impressed. It's that good. And it's a beautiful movie visually, and it is a badass movie as far as like the story. And I can't wait for Furiosa for 2024, and I can't wait for the next one, which is Mad Max. I think Wasteland is the next one. So that's going to be awesome. I have full faith that they'll continue to make these movies amazing. People call this one of the best movies of the 2010s, and I wholeheartedly agree. This movie is awesome, and I'm glad everyone in the world agrees it's awesome because also one of the most rewatchable movies. Like, it's so sick. This movie is so sick. Mad Max Fury Road, the definition of hell yeah. Stone Cold Steve Austin would smash together 2 beers and chug them right in front of Vince McMahon and flip him off, hit him with a Stone Cold Stunner, and then turn this on the TV. Hall of Fame. At 18, we got Scream. I don't like horror movies. Never have. I watched this. I was like, this movie's great. This movie's going to the Hall of Fame. It's got a guy who loves horror movies in it. I love movies. I don't love horror movies, but I love movies. And him talking about the rules of a horror movie and how to survive. Immaculate scene. Matthew Lillard is a childhood hero of mine because I watched the Scooby-Doo movie a lot when I was younger. It was actually the first movie I ever watched. My first ever sleepover at a friend's house, we watched the Scooby-Doo movie with Matthew Lillard in it, like the one from 2002. So that's pretty special to me. I don't know if I'd actually seen the movie before that, but then after that, I really liked that movie, and my sister and I would watch it whenever it was on TV. And I had a crush on Sarah Michelle Gellar as Daphne, and I think I still kind of do. And now Matthew Lillard has voiced Shaggy since then, so like in my mind, I can still hear Casey Kasem as Shaggy, but I also do kind of hear a lot of Matthew Lillard, like when I think about, like I really have to picture the old school Shaggy, because this is like the, oh, we don't want to go to the basement. That's not even right. I can't even do Casey Kasem's. Whereas Shaggy's voice is like Matthew Lillard's, I can do like a lot better. Interesting. Casey Kasem is definitely hard to do an impression, but I think most people my age, you ask them to do a Shaggy impression, it's probably going to sound like Matthew Lillard. Not just because it's a little easier to do an impression of, but also because it's kind of become the voice of Shaggy. I really like Casey Kasem. Don't get me wrong. He does a great job, but Matthew Lillard has done... I've probably watched more stuff of Matthew Lillard as Shaggy's voice now than I have Casey Kasem, because it's like... I watch Where Are You a lot, but other than that, it's mostly Matthew Lillard stuff. Gets Mystery Incorporated and the new stuff. So, it's interesting. But as far as Scream goes, this movie's funny. And apparently I must really enjoy it when a movie is a pseudo-horror film. Because Terminator 1 is like kind of like a horror movie, but it's like sci-fi. It's tech-noir, as Cameron called it. This movie is like a horror movie, but it's also hilarious. And so... Also, Henry Winkler's in it, which is always a W. So... Actually, my aunt met Henry Winkler, said he's an amazing person. So, That's great. Good for Henry Winkler. Scream, you're great. I'm gonna probably watch you like every Halloween because you're that fun, and I really love the movie. So Hall of Fame. Coming in at number 17, we got Creed 3. I said earlier this movie was gas. It still is. It's going to the Hall of Fame. At number 16, we have The Social Network. I went and watched The Killer in theaters, and then 2 days later, I was like, okay, I think that's pretty good, but let's watch what I've always kind of considered in my mind Fincher's best to see if it's better than it. And then I watched Social Network, and about 10 minutes in, and I hear the bum, 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 ba-dum, like the guy from Nine Inch Nails, his music kicking in, and I was Trent Reznor, and I was like, yep, this movie is Fincher's best. Nothing comes close. I mean, I love Seven, don't get me wrong, but this is his best. He made a dialogue-driven film about a bunch of tech guys, and it's better than movies about serial killers. I don't know how he did it. I haven't watched Zodiac. Maybe that's secretly his best movie. I don't think Panic Room or The Game or The Girl with Dragon Tattoo or Mank or Benjamin Button are going to blow me away. I'm not going to watch Alien 3. I have no interest, but I don't think they're going to blow me away as much as The Social Network. It's I don't know how he did it. I don't know how this movie is so engaging. It's 2 hours long, and it feels like an hour 15. I'm serious. Also, as soon as Andrew Garfield, this is like, he kills in this movie. Kills it. As Eduardo. And, I mean, this is easily the performance of Eisenberg that, like, defines him. Like, he's still trying to do this. He's still trying to do this role. Maybe he just actually is kind of like this. But this movie ages like wine, too. Also, Justin Timberlake, his best acting is when he's, like, a terrible person. Like, you completely dislike his character. He's so slimy. And yet, I like Justin Timberlake in real life, and this is, like, easily his best acting in my mind. I'm like, who knew that his secret acting was to be somebody terrible? Because that's what goes on. I don't know. As soon as, the fuck you flip-flop scene is iconic. And this movie's iconic. And it's going to the Hall of Fame. At number 15, we got a movie that I honestly starting to think I should have put higher. But the movies above it are so good. But it just feels weird that it's at 15. Because, oh my gosh. It's a movie that probably most of you haven't seen. Most of you probably haven't even heard of. It stars the late, great, rest in peace, one of the best, Chadwick Boseman. It's got the boy, J.K. Simmons. And it's amazing. 21 Bridges. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's getting hot in here. This is, oh man, we're in classic territory. This is nuts. 21 Bridges is a movie hardly anybody's seen that I got to recommend to literally everyone. It feels like an action movie pulled out of 1986 and put into the year of our Lord, 2023. Well, now it's 2024, but still, it was made in 2019. So it came out like 33 years too late, and it's amazing. Follows a cop who is after this. He follows a cop who is. I don't even want to tell you the plot because it's too good. You got to find it out for yourself. I'm not telling you anything, not a single thing, other than the fact that they closed down New York. Like it's locked down for them to find this criminal. That's the only thing you got to know. He's got to find this criminal. Chadwick Boseman does. They lock it down. He's got to take care of it. And it is directed excellently. It has something to say. It is I don't want to say it is interesting because duh, or else it wouldn't be 15 on the list. But I'm saying it has something to say. It's incredibly well directed. Really well directed. Looks good. Looks really good. It feels like an old school movie that's modern, and I love that. I don't know why this wasn't more of a hit. Why was this not more of a hit? Why? I don't understand. This movie should have made like $600 million in my book. Honestly, if you're being really honest, I believe it should have made $1 billion, but it only made. Let's see how much Puppy made. $49 million on a $33 million budget. It lost money because usually for budgets you double what the budget was for marketing and everything. And I remember the marketing for this, so they definitely did try to market it. It only made about $50 million, but it still lost money. This was a loss for them. Oh my gosh. I'm just looking at the trailer, and I'm just like, this is an absolute hood classic. Yep, this movie is an absolute slapper. Also, the guy from John Carter's in it, so that's fun. John Carter's fun. All right, 21 Bridges. What else do I gotta say? You literally should just watch it. It's an hour 39. It is not long. You should give it a shot. You will like it. It is amazing. I love it. You'll enjoy it. It needs to become a cult classic. Maybe it secretly is, and I'm not aware. But it is there's so many movies that come out and want to be great action movies now. There hasn't really been a lot of great action movies recently. I'm looking at the 2024 slate. There is going to be some good ones, and we'll get to that when I do the most anticipated. I think the action movies are about to have a pretty big comeback. But 21 Bridges is the movie you've been missing. I'm serious. This is the movie you've been missing all your life. I promise you. I might have to make a video on it on the channel. Originally, this was going to be a video on the channel, and then the video turned out 2 hours long. I'm like, you know what? It'd probably just be better as a podcast. So we're doing it as a podcast. I had trouble moving the footage and everything. It was a lot. So, anyways, I might have to make a video for it on the other channel. I'll link the channel below if you're listening to this and you don't know about the channel that I've been making some videos on. But this 21 Bridges, man. 21 Bridges is so good. It's going into the Hall of Fame, baby. Oh, my gosh. I love 21 Bridges. 14, we got Beverly Hills Cop 2. I love Beverly Hills Cop. I always consider the second one not as good. I know some people consider it better, but I still don't think it's as good. Does that mean it's not Hall of Fame? Hell no. This movie's amazing. Tony Scott directs it. The first one I really like about the first one is Martin Brest directs it like it's a late 70s crime film, and then Eddie Murphy turns it into a comedy film. And so it has this fun like mix of genres. That's why it's such a great action comedy, because it feels like it's directed and shot like a 70s crime film, and then it vibes and talks like a comedy film. Tony Scott comes in, and he goes, yeah, we're making an action comedy. And Tony Scott just makes a pure action comedy all the way through. So I think that's why it works so well, is because it does have a completely different vibe from the first one, while also not betraying the Beverly Hills Cop franchise. Like, it still obviously feels like it connects, but it does have a different vibe. So it doesn't just feel like the first one retreaded. Taggart and Rosewood obviously back. Bogomil's a little bit sidelined because he gets taken out by the bad guy early on in the film. It's really not a spoiler because it's like the first 10 minutes. But Eddie's great in this. Like, he is in everything. Eddie's my boy. And Beverly Hills Cop 2, hilarious. I think I find the first one funnier, but the fact that it's relatively close is impressive. Gilbert Gottfried's in this. Rest in peace. Legend. He's hilarious in this. And Beverly Hills Cop 2 is excellent. And the fact that you can make an argument to me that it's better than the first one is impressive. I will not agree with you, but if that's your opinion, I respect it. I really do. I respect it. Still haven't watched the third one. I'm terrified because I've heard nothing but bad things. Also, Taggart and Rosewood aren't in it. What are we doing? Also, what they do with Paul Reiser in the second one is great. That's just, everybody knows that. Beverly Hills Cop 2, instant classic. I love it. It's going into the Hall of Fame. My dad prefers it over the first one, and so does my girlfriend, which is insane, but I respect it. At 13th best movie I watched in 2023, we got Creed. I talked earlier about how much I love this film. Ryan Coogler is an excellent director. He absolutely kills it in Creed. There's a lot of elements that would return in Black Panther. The way he uses music that are in this film. And I love Black Panther, just like I love this movie. Also, the way he makes the fight feel like a real HBO broadcast is awesome. Also, this is Sylvester Stallone's best acting performance ever, bar none. I don't know how they got this out of him. I genuinely don't understand. How did they get Sylvester Stallone to make me tear up? This is insane. Sylvester Stallone legitimately acts in this movie, and he acts really well. Rocky is his definitive role, and he is incredible in this movie. Maybe he secretly acts in those, maybe he secretly acts in that, 2008 Rambo movie, Rambo 4, or maybe he really acts in Rambo Last Blood. I don't know. But in this movie, he acts, and he acts damn well, and I don't know how they got that out of him. But he is wonderful in this movie, and I mean wonderful. He really, really pulls at your heartstrings, and I don't know how they got him to do it. So for that alone, this movie should have went in the Hall of Fame. And on top of the fact, it's also the second best movie in the Rocky series. That's incredible. Coming in at number 12, one of the funniest movies ever made. We got, I didn't say the thing I was supposed to say. It's incredible, and that's why Creed is going into the Hall of Fame. There we go. We get to pop up a little graphic and everything. Coming in at number 12, we got one of the funniest movies ever made, Superbad. Superbad is the most accurate high school comedy ever created. The way they talk is full of swear words and kind of disgusting. And as a guy who hung out with a lot of high school boys while in high school, it is accurate. Just being honest. Watched a lot of movies of Emma Stone this year. She's really good in everything. She's really good in this. Michael Cera is hilarious in this movie. Jonah Hill's very funny in this too, but Cera is actually, I think, honestly funnier. It's the little things with him. It's soccer. Like that line's hilarious to me, and movie's so funny. Oh my gosh. And it's also one of those movies where it has heart to it. It really does. It really has heart. I think there's a big reason I really like rom-coms is because in comedy movies, there's really two types. There's zany over-the-top comedies, like every Will Ferrell movie, almost every Adam Sandler movie. What else is like this? What else? Dumb and Dumber, right? Those are zany over-the-top comedies. And then you have more real comedy, where comedy is feels like real, something that would happen in real life, and it feels natural. That is a lot of your rom-coms. That is action comedies a lot of times. I think that's why I enjoy action. I find, if you said to me, what's the funniest movie ever made? It's Beverly Hills Cop. No question. And the fact that it is an action comedy, I think, enhances it because it makes it less of a zany comedy. Probably one of my favorite zany comedies is honestly Barbie. It's a very good zany comedy. Superbad is the definition of a non-zany comedy, but it's also not a rom-com, nor is it an action movie. It is a through-and-through comedy, and while there are some wild things that happen in it, it all feels very real. It all feels like it could happen. I love that. I love Superbad. I think it's hilarious. Also, banger soundtrack out of nowhere. Just completely out of nowhere. Incredible soundtrack. It's got Bill Hader in it. Love Bill Hader. And this movie is a classic. And it also has a very beautiful friendship between Jonah Hill and Michael Cera's characters. Also, I mean, McLovin's hilarious. So, it's going in the Hall of Fame. At number 11, we got one of my favorite superhero movies ever made. My favorite movie to come out of the DCEU, and it's probably going to feed into the DCU a little bit, and that is The Suicide Squad. Oh my gosh. James Gunn, the best superhero director. This is the movie where he proved he's not just the Guardians of the Galaxy guy. This movie is one of the, in my opinion, the most comic book-looking comic book movie. I know a lot of people say Watchmen. I don't love that Watchmen movie as much as some people do. This movie, when it does the title card thing, that's sick. Idris Elba's really good in every. I know I say this a lot about a lot of actors where I say they're really good in everything, but it's true. Idris Elba's really good in everything. He's really good in this. I love John Cena. I love seeing him in movies. Put him in more movies. He is very good. I think it's funny when it comes to the wrestling actors that the best one is Dave Bautista, the second best one is John Cena, and the worst one is The Rock. Out of the big ones, obviously the Edge is the Edge. No, not the Edge. Edge, like the wrestler Adam Copeland, Edge, he is the worst actor out of them, but I wouldn't even consider him an actor-wrestler, even though he's in that Percy Jackson TV show, which I've been watching. I kind of enjoy it. I'm not going to lie. The kid that plays Percy Jackson is like exactly what I picture Percy Jackson as. Walker Scobell, that's his name. But anyways, Edge is Ares in that show, and it's just funny to me because it's Edge. But out of the big three wrestling actors, Batista, John Cena, and The Rock, it's funny to me that I think The Rock is actually the worst actor, even though he is the most popular. Like, he's the most prominent. Because I just feel like The Rock doesn't take things that challenge him. John Cena takes roles that challenge him. Batista definitely takes roles that challenge him. Oh, my gosh. I can't wait to see what James Gunn is going to cast Batista in the DCUS, because I think he's going to put him something that's very interesting. Something very interesting, and I'm very excited for that. But anyways, back to Suicide Squad. Peacemaker alone makes this movie Hall of Fame. Love him. And Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn is perfect. You guys know I'm a huge Margot Robbie fan, and she is excellent as Harley Quinn in this movie, I think. Uses her exceptionally well. Putting her on her own little adventure is great, and this movie is just so much better than the original Suicide Squad that I hate the fact that that movie even exists. And this movie is great. Also, David Ayer has a new movie called The Beekeeper that looks kind of dope. I honestly thought about putting it on my most anticipated films of the year, but then I realized that, I'm going to go see it in like 2 weeks, so I don't really feel like putting it as my most anticipated when I'm going to watch it in like 2 weeks. I don't know. I don't know if it's my most anticipated. Like, I just kind of looking forward to it. I'm like, oh, it's a January movie. There's not much coming out. I might have to check that out. I kind of enjoy just a straight-up action movie with Jason Statham. Those can be fun. Like, Wrath of Man was pretty fun. Guy Ritchie, he did a good job with that. Not incredible. Wasn't trying to be incredible. Just being solid. I'm talking about Jason Statham action movies when I should be talking about the Suicide Squad. Yeah, this is the most comic book accurate, like, it just feels like comic book come to life, and I love that. And I love the costuming. I hope they lean into this when they do the DCU movies. If the DCU movies have similar vibes to this, awesome. Awesome. Hall of Fame. We are now into the top 10. I think I've probably been talking about movies for 40 minutes now. I don't actually have a thing that tells me how long I've been talking. So, I think it has been about 45 minutes of me just talking about the movies alone. It's a big section. Coming in at number 10, 10th best movie I watched 2023, we had Pride and Prejudice. I watched this for the first time in July, and for the next 24 hours, all me and my girlfriend did was talk to each other in British accents because we thought it was funny. And guess what? It was funny. Matthew McFadden, the only thing I've ever seen him in is Succession. He was great in this. Keira Knightley, I love her in everything she's in because I grew up watching the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And she's really good in those, and I also kind of had a crush on her. I don't know if I still do. I haven't come to terms with that yet. Rosamund Pike is in this, and I can't ever really look at her the same after Gone Girl because she scared me very badly. But she's good in this as Keira Knightley's sister. This is just a beautiful romance. If you've been listening to this and you're like, he really just put Pride and Prejudice above The Social Network, Mad Max Fury Road, Forrest Gump, Barbie, Green Mile. Yes, I did. Because Pride and Prejudice is one of the best shot movies I've seen all year. There's like 3 to 4 movies in the Hall of Fame, and I've already went by 2 of them that I think are incredibly shot. So it's like this and Mad Max Fury Road, some of the best shot movies I watched all year. I actually, while watching this, turned to G and was like, this is one of the best looking movies I've ever seen in my life. Because it was. I mean, it was one of the best shot movies I watched last year. It was incredibly well shot. It is a rom-com. This movie's a rom-com. It's much like I said before that Casablanca is a rom-com. You just got to watch it knowing that. This movie is a rom-com. You just got to watch it knowing that. It's hilarious. It is a beautiful romance at the same time. It's funny. It is fun to watch. It is a fun historical piece. Like, I love a really good period piece, and this is a really good period piece, and I really enjoyed that. A bad period piece is like one of the worst things ever. It's like a bad documentary. It's terrible. Terrible to watch. This is a really good period piece, and I love it, and I just love this movie. This is just an excellent film. I love it. G really wants me to watch Little Women. I'm sure I'm going to do that in 2024. Excited to watch that. I love this movie. It's going into the Hall of Fame. Coming in at number 9, we have Jackie Brown, baby. Oh, man. So first time I watched this movie, I was like, it's pretty good. Not one of Quentin's best. Now I consider it one of Quentin's best and one of his most underrated films. This is why I can't do the Quentin. Last year, I planned on doing the Quentin Tarantino ranking because I own them all. I was going to watch them all. After I watched Jackie Brown, and I let it sit for a little while because I'm like, I want to sit and think on this. And once I let it, I want to say marinate. That's the word I want. Marinate with me for a while. I eventually figured out how I felt about it, and I loved it. So that's why maybe this is the year, maybe 2024 will be the year I finally rank all Tarantino movies, because I do have to have a decent amount of time for them to sit with me, and then I could do my big ranking. It might honestly be 2025, when I finally do my ranking, because I still have to watch Hateful Eight, Death Proof, and both Kill Bills and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Those ones I have left. But I honestly, in order for the ranking to work, I need to watch them all again. So, yeah, it might be 2025 I do the ranking, because I might watch all the ones I haven't seen for the first time this year. And then 2025, watch everyone again one time, and then rank them. So then I'm not ranking them based off one watch. They've all had at least 2 watches. I don't know. We'll see. But that'll probably be a video. I don't know if that'll be a podcast. It'll depend on how long I talk. But Jackie Brown, this movie introduced me to Elmore Leonard crime novels. He's now my favorite author, so that's pretty sweet. This is the least Quentin Tarantino movie out of all his movies. He is doing the least amount of crazy stuff. And the fact is, this is probably one of his most recommendable films because of that. It doesn't, I mean, it still feels like Quentin Tarantino movie. It still has that vibe. But it's a complete 180 from Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction is him at some of his most Quentin, and this is him at some of his least. And I think that's part of the reason I really love it. I think it's incredible to me that he made this. I've seen an interview with him one time. It was around 1997 when it came out. He said, what's funny about this movie is that if I made this movie near the end of my career, people would be like, wow, look at him making this more subtle, character-driven film. And he goes, and I'm making this as my 3rd movie in my career. And that quote sticks with me whenever I think about this movie, because he's so right. This definitely feels like a movie he would make late in his career, not now. And not now. It didn't come out now. Came out in 2020. Not 2020. Oh, my gosh. It came out in 1997. So, also, Pam Grier. I absolutely love her as Jackie Brown. She is amazing. Michael Keaton. I love what he does with Michael Keaton and De Niro in this movie. He completely plays with what you expect them to be doing. De Niro is one of his funniest roles because it's the type of role you never really see De Niro in it, because he plays off the fact of what you think De Niro is going to be, and then he's really not that. He's just kind of a schmuck. And so it's funny to see De Niro as that. Keaton's a very fun character in this. Really enjoy him. And the guy who plays Max Cherry, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He's primarily a TV actor. I think he's got an Oscar nom for Jackie Brown. I love him in this. And this is also Quentin's most romantic film. It's got a romance to it. And, I mean, like Django, he's going after, his wife, right? And, Pulp Fiction, he's kind of into Marcellus Wallace's girl a little bit. He's kind of into Uma Thurman. And then there's no romance in Reservoir Dogs. But Jackie Brown has a real romance to it. They meet, you see the sparks fly, and there's a final note on it. And it's a bittersweet one, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I guarantee you can bet that it's, something like... Now that I've said it's bittersweet, you kind of have an idea of what it's going to be like. But it has a real heart to it, and it definitely feels like Quentin really toned it down after Pulp Fiction. And then he just went full crazy after that with Kill Bill 1 and 2, which I still have to watch, so I'm pretty excited to watch those for the first time. But talking about Jackie Brown just makes me want to rewatch it. I love Jackie Brown. It's also incredible soundtrack from Quentin. I mean, it is contender for his best. And, gosh, also Samuel L. Jackson's in it. I can't believe I didn't say that. Samuel L. Jackson's in it. He's amazing. He's great. So, just an incredibly fun crime movie. It is his least crazy and probably his most recommendable, to be honest. If somebody that doesn't really like Quentin Tarantino movies says he isn't that good, show him this, because this is him using his least amount of tricks, and yet it's still an excellent film. And that's why it's going into the Hall of Fame. Coming in at number 8, we have a movie that you're probably going to gasp when I say, but I absolutely love this film, and it was the 8th best movie I watched in 2023, and that's Mr. Mom. Oh my gosh, this movie's hilarious. This movie is a basket of fun. I love Michael Keaton in this movie as the father who has to switch. It plays with gender roles in the 80s because his wife, I think it's Terry Garr, right? His wife goes off to work a job, and he becomes a stay-at-home dad. And at first, he can't. Yeah, it's Terry Garr. At first, he doesn't really like it, and then by the end, he's playing poker with coupons with some of the other moms in the neighborhood, and it's just really fun. The guy who plays Colonel Mustard from Clue is the bad guy in it. I don't even know. Well, yeah, he is a bad guy. He kind of assaults his wife. More like harasses. Yeah, it'd be harass. It'd be like he does kind of harass his wife and tries to get with Michael Keaton's wife, but then she turns him down, and that's a pretty epic moment. So, movie's funny. I love it. I think I've fallen asleep to it 5 different times. That's an exaggeration. 3 times. But it's like a warm blanket of a film. It is a favorite of mine to just put on. It's pretty short. If you don't really know what to watch that night, you watch Mr. Mom, and you love it because it's great. And so, Mr. Mom is going into the Hall of Fame. Coming in at number 7 is a movie that didn't make the Hall of Fame last year, and man, oh boy, was that a mistake. I got my wisdom teeth out January 6th, I think, last year. 6th, yeah, sounds right. And I wanted to watch a movie when I got home, because you really can't do too much. And I fell asleep right after the scene where Miles Teller's playing the piano. Yes, it's Top Gun Maverick. And I woke back up for the final flight where I said Miles Teller. I know his character's name. It's Rooster. When Rooster's playing the piano, and I woke back up just in time for Maverick to be getting on the plane. This is one of the best modern blockbusters ever made. There's a reason everybody likes this movie. There's a reason it made an insane amount of money. There's a reason people thought Mission Impossible 7 was going to be a hit, even though it definitely wasn't. It was a huge flop. It's because of this movie, and this movie's awesome. And man, the perfect dad movie, honestly. It's not a dad in America that didn't enjoy this movie. And Glenn Powell's in this, and I love Glenn Powell in every movie. And I just think he's going to be an absolute star. He kind of already is a star, but his star is going to continue to grow. I really need to see Anyone But You. Glenn Powell in a rom-com is just going to cook. But, man, Top Gun Maverick, the definition of a perfect blockbuster. Incredibly rewatchable, incredibly fun, amazing movie. Saw it in the theater twice, both times. Excellent. This movie's only been out since 2022, and I think I've watched it 5 times. Hall of Fame. At number 6, we have the other Quentin Tarantino movie I watched for the first time this year, and that is Reservoir Dogs. There was a part of me that wanted to put Jackie Brown above this. More and more I thought about it, more and more I thought that I really love Reservoir Dogs. It is a very bottled up crime film that I love. The opening is so iconic. With them all sitting around talking about Madonna, and then them walking out to Little Green Bag. Love it. Everybody in this movie gives a great performance. I love Tim Roth in this movie. I've never really liked Tim Roth that much in any movie. I mean, he's good in Pulp Fiction. I didn't love him. I really love him in this. I think he's great. Harvey Keitel, I do love in every movie. Literally every movie he's in. I love Harvey Keitel. Except a Taxi Driver, because I didn't really realize it was him. Also, I'm not a huge Taxi Driver guy anyway. But, yeah, Reservoir Dogs. There's a reason Quentin Tarantino went on to become a huge star, and this was his first movie. This movie's great for a reason, and it's just a cool movie. It's just cool. Like, you watch it, you feel cool. I don't know. It's cool. It's going into the Hall of Fame. Number 5, we have Happy Gilmore. Talked about earlier the fact that I love real comedies a lot more than zany comedies. Happy Gilmore is easily my favorite zany, outrageous comedy. Adam Sandler's best. I think it's going to be hard for him to top it for me. I've seen Billy Madison. It is not as good as this. I love the movie Bedtime Stories a lot, but it is not better than this. This movie is hilarious. There's just so many elements of this movie that are funny to me. The whole Bob Barker thing. Shooter McGavin is one of the best comedy villains. I think, genuinely, probably the best comedy villain ever. Shooter McGavin is Insane. I love Shooter McGavin. The really great villains are just as iconic, if not more iconic, than the heroes. That's Shooter McGavin. The guy who plays him just absolutely killed it. And I forget his name, but he's... Oh my gosh. Happy Gilmore's so funny. Shooter! The one I always go back to is, Shooter McGavin says, I eat shit like you for breakfast. He goes, you eat shit for breakfast? He just gives him a stare and is like, what? No. Hilarious. Hall of Fame for Happy Gilmore. Coming in at number 4, I gotta admit, so 4 up, every single one of these movies from the 4th place up, at one point I had ranked number 1 throughout the year. The 4th movie, the 4 spot, the 3 spot, I watched them both in October. The 2 spot I watched in May, and the 1 spot I watched in December. So every single one of these at a different point was the best movie I watched in the year. I should say 2 of them I watched the first time this year, and then 2 of them, the top 2, I had seen previously. So I just hadn't put them in the Hall of Fame yet. I knew they were going to be in the Hall of Fame, but I hadn't gotten around to them. So here we go. Number 4, movie I watched the first time this year, we have Crazy Stupid Love. My good friend Jonathan was like, Ryan, I think you'd really like this movie. Jonathan, you were incredibly right. I love Crazy Stupid Love. I think it's a rom-com. To me, it's very funny, so I think it is. And it is one of the best rom-coms. It tells like 4 different rom-com stories at once, and it's hilarious. It also, I don't want to even say it has a twist, because then you're going to be looking for it when you watch it. But the twist is one of the best movie twists ever. So I did kind of say it as a twist. I know I wasn't going to say it, but I did. One of the best movie twists ever. This is one of Carell's first big movies, and I love him in this. Gosling is obviously excellent as Jacob. He steals the show from me. Kevin Bacon's only in it for 5 minutes, but it's hilarious what he's in. And I don't even know what to say. This movie, also, this is the other one. This movie was so well shot. This is like one of the best looking movies I've ever seen. I know you're like, really? Crazy Stupid Love? I'm serious. Some of the best cinematography in any movie I watched this year. And I watched Dune this year. And I think Dune's really well shot too. Denis Villeneuve is one of the best cinematographer, director, worker guys. But, Crazy Stupid Love, insanely well shot. Insanely well shot. Just probably one of the best looking rom-coms ever made. I remember watching this movie. I literally paused it and went, wow. I said out loud, wow, this is insane. This is incredible. The way they were shooting it. They did not have to make this movie this stylish. No one made them do this. They chose this, and I'm so glad they did, because Crazy Stupid Love is hilarious. Crazy Stupid Love is also beautiful. It is the definition of a great rom-com, and I'm so glad I watched it the first time. I've seen it, I think, 3 times in the span of 3 months, and I loved every second of it. It's going into the Hall of Fame. Coming in at number 3, the last movie on this list that I watched the first time. So if we're going off the movies I watched for the first time this year, this was the best movie I watched for the first time this year. And that is La La Land. Never watched a Damien Chazelle movie. I need to watch Whiplash. I need to watch Babylon. I have no interest in watching First Man. First time I watched this, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. By the end of the year, I considered maybe putting it at number 1. You want to talk about a good-looking film? Wow. Incredible design. Incredible. Like, not the cinematography as much as the design, the costuming, the lighting. It feels like watching a stage play into a film, but not in the way of like they filmed a stage play like Hamilton. Like, it's like the natural evolution of how a musical should look in film. It feels like a classic, like when you watch like the Guys and Dolls movie from like the 1950s with Marlon Brando. That's how it feels. it has a classic film vibe to it. And part of it is the setting of classic Hollywood. I think part of it is just the design of it. And it's, oh my gosh. Every song in here is amazing. I'm not a big musical guy. I'm really not. I don't watch Broadway shows. I don't really keep up with that type of stuff. As you can see, this is like, I really enjoy musical numbers and films, don't get me wrong, but I don't really watch much musicals. This is a musical, and I love it. This is not a rom-com. This is straight up romance. There's parts that make me laugh, but it is a romance. And one of the most beautiful romances I've ever seen. The fact that you can play a song. There's a certain song in here, the Mia and Sebastian theme, the piano song. Everybody who's seen the movie knows what I'm talking about. When I hear that song, I'm like the guy from Ratatouille when he bites in and it takes him back to being a kid. Not in the sense it takes me back to being a kid. It just takes me back to watching this film. And the ending of the film and the journey you go on through the film. And it's the definition of a film making you feel something. This movie does that on every level. The only reason it's not number one is that the other two are just a little more personal to me. But this film I've only seen for 3 months now. And it's already very personal to me. So that's incredible. I never really thought I would love this movie that much. Didn't really seem like a very me movie. And I'm glad I took a chance because I love it. And it's going in the Hall of Fame. Number 2, we have a movie that I knew whatever year I watched it, it was going in the Hall of Fame. And it happened to be this year. So, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. Second best movie I watched in 2023. I really thought about putting this number 1. When I watched this movie for the first time as a 10-year-old. And I didn't go see it in theaters because my parents and I all thought it looked weird. Didn't look like the usual MCU bunch. We didn't like that. Little did we know that it would go on to become, I think my mom and I's at least, I don't know if it's my sister's. My dad's favorite MCU movie is Iron Man 1, but I think it's my mom and I's both favorite MCU film. It might be my sister's, I'm not sure. But I think the thing about this movie is that's special to me is there's things you watch when you're younger that really speak to you and they really affect you. And for me, when I was really young, it was Indiana Jones. I wanted to be like Indiana Jones. I parade around the house. I still have my leather Indiana Jones hat, and I have a purse that's brown leather that looks like his satchel. Still have that, and I would play Indiana Jones all the time. Got older, and I watched Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies when I was like 8 or 9. I wanted to be like Spider-Man. Spider-Man and Indiana Jones. In 2014, they had 2 movies come out that both really affected me. The Lego movie, to me, was like everything I had ever dreamed of a movie being. It just was off the charts, incredible, like story and out-of-the-box thinking, and I loved that. And Guardians of the Galaxy. And oddly enough, both have Chris Pratt. And I really like Chris Pratt. I'm not a Chris Pratt hater like a lot of people are. I really enjoy him in movies. And I'm also a pretty big Parks and Rec guy, so I really like Chris Pratt. But the thing is with Guardians of the Galaxy is I can remember when I watched it, I afterwards bought the iTunes sound. I went to iTunes. Went to iTunes before Apple Music, before Spotify. And I bought the soundtrack, and I listen to it all the time. I actually can sing you every song on that soundtrack, except for I'm Not in Love. It's the only one, because I didn't really like that one as much. And plus, it's barely in the movie. It's just in the beginning for a little bit. I still know that song, but I don't know every word like I do to all the other songs. And I would listen to that all the time. I still have a Spotify playlist saved that's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, 2, and 3, all their music. And I still listen to it sometimes because I bought that first soundtrack. And I remember parading around my house with my iPad mini that I plugged my earbuds into. And I couldn't fit it in my pocket like a Walkman. So I would try to put it in my waistband to hold it up. And I watched this movie when I was 10, and I wanted to be like Star-Lord. I wanted to be the funny guy who could crack jokes, and like it affected me. I think it definitely influenced my personality. I one of the first times I've not one of the first times, but one of the times I remember, one of the only times in my life, maybe it is the first time, who knows, but one of the only times I can remember crying in a movie theater was 2018 Infinity War, when Thanos takes Gamora from Star-Lord, and they're standing there, and he has to let her go. And she's like, "You got to let me go. You can't save me. You just got to let me go." And I cried. And I don't know why it affected me so much. I think it's just because there's something about this movie. It was a childhood favorite of mine. You know, Bill Simmons once said, "Your favorite movie when you're 11 is your favorite movie your whole life." And Beverly Hills Cop, I watched for the first time when I was 16. But, so I think I was a little late to the party, because I don't know if there is anything that'll top that. But Guardians of the Galaxy is up there for one of my favorite movies. And while I think Across the Spider-Verse is the best superhero movie, if you said what's my favorite, I think it might be Guardians of the Galaxy. It's, like I said, I think it directly influenced my personality. I wanted to be like Star-Lord. I wanted to act like him. And it's special that way. It's funny because, you know, all these studios are trying to be the next Star Wars. They all want, like, Rebel Moon. Remember that Valerian movie? And yet the next Star Wars was this little trilogy inside the MCU. And I just think that's funny. It wasn't some vast, sprawling world. It was a little trilogy inside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's going into the Hall of Fame because I love Guardians of the Galaxy. Coming in at number 1, I know you're like, wow, you gave that big speech about Guardians Volume 1. How are you going to top that? Well, this movie also directly affected me first time I watched it. Number 1, the movie of the year, the best movie I watched in 2023, Die Hard. I watched this for the first time. I think I was 14, 15, or 16, right in the around the time I watched Beverly Hills Cop for the first time. Might have been 15. I think it was after Beverly Hills Cop. Might have been 16. Who knows? Regardless, it was one of the movies I always figured I'd like. I just hadn't watched it. And my trick is, if I know a lot about a movie and I just haven't watched it, and somebody asks me if I've seen it, I just say, yeah, I've seen some of it on TV, never finished it. I'm lying. I just haven't watched it. That's just my way of, you know, not having to have them try to be like, oh, well, this is what it's about. And I'm like, I don't need to hear that. I know what Die Hard's about. I'm not stupid. I know what Die Hard's about. You don't, whatever. So, but I will say, I did say that earlier about Big, that I have seen parts of it on TV. That is true. I'm not lying to you guys. I have actually seen parts of Big. I don't lie to you guys, because this is like, it's funny. G's making like a journal right now, like a bullet journal. It's like the new thing to do. And I see these podcasts as like my journal, because like, even if they only have 5 views, you know, I can always look back and remember these times and the things I was interested in, the things I watched, and how they affected me at the time and how they affect me now are different. I think that's cool. It's like my own little, like, it's like Good Luck Charlie with the video diaries. All right, back to why Die Hard's movie of the year. Die Hard is another movie that really affected me. I watched this for the first time, and I wanted to be like Bruce Willis. It's just weird. You don't usually get that feeling when you're like 16 years old. You don't really get that feeling anymore where you want to be like the characters. I had that with Axel, and I didn't think you'd really get that again. And I had it with John McClane. You don't really self-insert yourself once you get over like 15, and I was doing it as a 16-year-old. And that's just wild to me that this movie made me feel that way. And there's a big joke when I was in high school with all my friends that like I wasn't allowed to swear. And so I never did in front of anyone. I never did like by myself either. Just never did until I graduated high school. That was like the rule. And this movie was actually the first time I ever said the F word because there was nobody home. I'd finished watching it. I walked upstairs. I just thought it was the most badass movie I've ever seen. I just said to myself, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, because I just thought it was cool. And it's really probably goofy to hear. But it's the truth. I wanted to be like John McClane. I thought he was cool. I thought he was the definition of like a normal guy thrown into a crazy situation. And I think that's the reason a lot of people like Die Hard is because they could see them. They want to see themselves as John McClane. They want to think they could do that like he did. I couldn't. I weigh $150, but it's fun to think I could. And Die Hard. You know, I love Django Unchained, but I watched Django Unchained at the age where you see movies as really cool. I watched Die Hard just before that age where you still see yourselves in the movies. I think Die Hard is probably one of the last movies I'll ever see where I really connect myself to the protagonist. Maybe I still have that in me. We'll see, you know? But I don't know. It's an interesting feeling. I think the older you get, you start interesting yourself into different characters. You know, my father really likes Iron Man because he wants to be like Tony Stark. A lot of dads really like Batman because they want to be like Bruce Wayne. Whereas when you're younger, you want to be like Spider-Man. And to me, I wanted to be like Spider-Man, Indiana Jones, John McClane, Axel Foley, and Star-Lord. That's what I wanted to be like. And once you've decided you wanted to be like them, even if it was a young age, it always stays with you. It never really goes away. You never stop wanting to be like them. So I think it's fun. Those are like I'm trying to think if there's anybody else I really wanted to be like. I mean, I guess Emmett, but Emmett was a lot like Star-Lord to me. Emmett from Lego Movie. So, yeah. Also, talked about how a great villain can make a movie even better. Hans Gruber, one of the best villains. I love Alan Rickman. Rest in peace. Legend. Die Hard is excellent. You might not think it's a Christmas movie. If you do, great. If you don't, that's cool too. You're free to your opinion. If you listen to this much of the podcast, it really means a lot to me because I think I talked about Guardians of the Galaxy and Die Hard for 20 minutes, just the two of those. But it's deserved because I love both those movies. Die Hard is a movie of 2023. And that's it. We did it. It's going into the Hall of Fame. And that was all of the Hall of Fame class for 2023. So if we run those down real quick, the Hall of Fame class for 2023 is officially RRR, Major League, 7, Barbie, Forrest Gump, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mad Max Fury Road, Scream, Creed 3, The Social Network, 21 Bridges, Beverly Hills Cop 2, Creed, Superbad, The Suicide Squad, Pride and Prejudice, Jackie Brown, Mr. Mom, Top Gun Maverick, Reservoir Dogs, Happy Gilmore, Crazy Stupid Love, La La Land, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Die Hard. It's a great list. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I watched a lot of movies this year, and yeah, I'm just really happy with the year, and I can't wait for 2024. The only thing is, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, 2025 is really when everything's gonna be, because the movie critic, Quentin Tarantino's last movie, is most likely coming out in 2025. If it comes out this year, it's my most anticipated film, but I'm willing to bet it's coming out in 2025 because they haven't even started filming yet. I don't think he's going to have time to get everything done. So, that comes out in 2025. Shrek 5 comes out in 2025. Superman Legacy, Batman Part 2, and Blade all come out in 2025. Those are all movies that could be my most anticipated movie if just one of them came out this year. Now, granted, there are a couple movies this year I'm very excited for. But 2025 is the real meat and potatoes. I'm not going to lie. This is kind of a bit of a buffer year, which is weird to think that the year is currently 5 days in, and I'm calling it a buffer year. But I think part of it is, too, like, I've never watched the Deadpool movies, so maybe I need to do that, and I'd be more excited for Deadpool 3, because it's not on my most anticipated list, because I've never watched the Deadpool movies. Because I was 12 when the first one came out. And then I'm not really excited for the Joker movie because I've never watched the first one. I've always thought it was going to freak me out. So maybe once I watch Deadpool 1 and 2, like maybe I'll watch Deadpool 1 and 2 this year, and I'll go see 3 in theaters, and I'll be like, oh, it was awesome. And then I'll go, like, I'll watch Joker 1, and then I'll go see the second one in theaters because it's a musical. So maybe I'll like that. Who knows? But, or maybe I won't like Joker 1 at all because I'm afraid I'm just going to be freaked out by it. So, you know. All right. Let's go to my most anticipated movies of 2024. And let's start at number 1 because I want to count down 1 to 11 on this one more. I just prefer doing that. Coming in at number 1, easily my most anticipated film. You guys know what it's going to be. Beverly Hills Cop 4, Axel Foley. We know I'm hyped for this. Come on, baby. They got Taggart and Rosewood back. They got Paul Reiser back. I don't know why Ronnie Cox isn't in it. I haven't seen him in the trailer. The trailer looks good. I just want this movie to be good. I want it to be the Top Gun Maverick of Beverly Hills Cop films. I know it's a lot to ask because Top Gun Maverick's crazy good. But a man can dream. I want it to be great. I want it to be amazing. I want it to be one of the best movies this year. Please, please be good. Eddie, I believe in you. Come on, Beverly Hills Cop 4, Axel Foley. Technically, it's just called Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley, but I feel like I have to call it 4. I don't know. Okay, that's my most anticipated movie of the year. Coming in at number 2, it's tough. It's between this, like 2 and 3 are kind of tied. 3 is The Fall Guy, but number 2 is Mad Max Furiosa. Oh my gosh, I was like, there's probably going to be like 4 or 5 on the list, and then I watched the trailer for it, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. He cooked again. Miller absolutely cooked again. I don't know how he does it. There's a reason he makes all the Mad Max movies. He just knows what he's doing. Oh my gosh. Like, yeah. George Miller just completely gets it. He created Mad Max, and he's still the guy making these. And, oh my gosh. It's going to be awesome. Anya Taylor-Joy looks like she's going to do really well as Furiosa. I was a little questionable because I was like, all right, Theron was so good as her. Are we sure Anya Taylor-Joy can be as good? Yes, and Chris Hemsworth looks like he's really going to have to act to be the villain, and it looks like he's going to do a really good job, so I'm very excited for that. It looks incredible, and I mean looks, like the literal definition of looks. Like, it looks like it's going to be just as well shot as Fury Road, if not better. Mad Max movies do not miss. Fury Road is so good. I'm willing to bet Furiosa is going to be really good, too, so can't wait. It's going to be an awesome theater experience. I've never seen a Mad Max movie in theaters, so I'm very excited for that. Number 3, The Fall Guy. This movie looks like it has everything for me. It's got Ryan Gosling in an action comedy that's about a stuntman who goes to check out why his lead actor is missing, and turns out his lead actor was murdered, and then he's involved in like a big crime thing. And he also is in love with Emily Blunt, who's the director of this film, so he wants to try to save her movie for her. So we're telling me it's a romance action comedy with Ryan Gosling in it, and it's based off an 80s TV show? I am so in. Oh my gosh. So, also there's a Bon Jovi song in the trailer, and that bangs. So, this movie, I honestly thought about putting this as my second most anticipated movie. My gosh, this looks awesome. This looks like it's got everything for me. Please, 2024, you got 2 action comedies in your top 3. You've got 3 action movies in my top 3 most anticipated movies. If all these action movies bang, it's going to be an incredible year for action movies. 2 great action comedies, 1 straight-up great action movie. Can that please happen? Please. Please have these all be good. I have the most faith in Furiosa, second most faith in Fall Guy, least most faith in Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley. But I want them all to be good. Fall Guy looks like it has everything in it to be good. David Leitch is the director. That is the guy who co-directed the first John Wick. So, yeah. Coming in at 4 is Dune Part 2. I was really anticipating this movie last year, and I was very excited for it, and I still am very excited for it. So, Dune Part 2, can't wait. It's going to be really good. I think it'll be even better than the first one. Coming in number 5, we got Coyote vs. Acme. This was the movie I talked about last year. I was like, I don't know what this is, but it's some John Cena Looney Tunes movie. It sounds right up my alley. This is it. Warner Brothers canned it, and then everybody was like, no, stop, on Twitter. And now they're bringing it back, so that's great. They're going to give it to a different distributor to release the film. I don't know why they're stupid and they don't just release it. Everybody loves Looney Tunes, so they should just release it. But whenever this comes out this year, I cannot wait. Hopefully it's in theaters. Can't wait to go see it. It's going to be awesome. James Gunn apparently helped write it, so it should cook. Coming in at number 6, we have Hitman. It's got Glenn Powell in it. It's apparently really good, just a really great Hitman action movie with him. I'm in. That sounds awesome. So it was supposed to come out last year. It did not. It's coming out this year. I think it's a Netflix movie, so hopefully it's good. Hopefully Netflix has 2 movies that cook this year between Hitman and Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley. Coming in at number 7, we get Gladiator 2. It's wild to me that this movie's coming out, but I love Gladiator 1 and colored me intrigued. Number 8, we got Argyle. Matthew Vaughn made the Kingsman movies. A lot of my friends really like Kingsman movies. I think they're pretty good. Argyle looks like it'd be really good because it's got Sam Rockwell in it. Dua Lipa in a big acting role, and I really like Dua Lipa's music. So maybe she can be a really great actor too, so that'd be cool. But she's going to be a big role in it, and Henry Cavill is the lead, and I like Henry Cavill, so that'll be fun. Coming in at number 9, we got Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Oh my gosh, the Sonic movies are just fun. Where's the Knuckles TV show? Where's it at? They said they were making it. Where is it? Come on. But the Sonic movies are fun, and the third one will be fun, and it'll be really funny when they put Robert Pattinson as Shadow. 10 is Transformers 1, an animated Transformers movie. There's a chance I don't see this if it looks bad, but if it looks good, I'm going to go see it. So I can't wait for that. Transformers 1, it's all about Optimus and Megatron when they work together on Cybertron, so that'd be cool. Coming in at 11 is Kung Fu Panda 4. This is another one I might not go see if everybody says it's bad, but hopefully it's really good like Puss in Boots 2. That's my hope, is that it's amazing. So we'll see if it is. Hopefully it is. If there was a 12 spot, I would put The Beekeeper on it because it looks pretty sweet, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not dying to see The Beekeeper. It's just one of those I'm like, oh, that might be fun. So let's look back real quick at last year, my most anticipated film of 2023. So I have Shrek If It Exists. It does exist. It's coming out in 2025, though. Then I had Looney Tunes John Cena at 12. 11, I had Shazam 2. It's funny because I didn't go see it in theaters because I just heard that it wasn't great. 10 was Blue Beetle. I didn't go see it in theaters either. Came out in August. Just didn't get around to it. 9 was Barbie. It's crazy that was 9. It was below Transformers Rise of the Beasts, which Rise of the Beasts came out in June, and I was in Europe when it released. I never even went and saw it. So come on, Ryan. 7 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Definitely lived up to the hype. It actually surpassed it. 6 was Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny. It was not as good as I wanted it to be. 5 was Oppenheimer. Surprised I put it above Barbie. I mean, I guess at the time I really wasn't that excited for Barbie. That's wild. 4 was Dune Part 2. Obviously excited for it next year. 3 was Creed 3. Definitely lived up to what I thought. 2 was Spider-Man Across Spider-Verse. I'm not surprised I didn't put it 1 because I didn't love Into as much as other people. I just thought Across looked really great. And then 1 was the Mario movie. The Mario movie was great, and I really liked it, but it obviously wasn't one of the best movies ever. It was good. I mean, it was good for what it was. I guess that's really the best way to word it. And 0 was The Killers of Flower Moon. I can't believe that was my most anticipated film because I liked it, but I didn't absolutely love it the way I wanted to. So, okay, we did it. That is it. That's the 2023 Sort of Sporties. This is my favorite podcast to do every year. It requires the most editing, but I really enjoy it. 2023 was a big year. I made 40 episodes because last year the Sort of Sporties was episode 39. So this was the year I started doing the podcast a lot more. I just really started making it more of a priority when it came to scheduling and just try to do more episodes and really tried to find more of a rhythm to it. And I've really been enjoying doing that. I obviously started the other channel. And I've really been enjoying that. We started putting the podcast on Spotify and Apple, so that's pretty big. Been seeing some growth there. Finally got one episode over 120 views, so that's cool. So that was sweet, thanks. Yeah, I really enjoy doing this. That's why I started the other channel, because in high school I would make a lot of videos for like my school news, and now I'm obviously not in high school anymore, so I don't feel like having those talents go to waste. So now I'm going to make some videos over there on the other channel, just about topics I feel like talking about. I got some ideas, and I can't wait to continue to make some videos. I obviously made a little sketch over there. That was fun. And then I got the wrestling talk video, and then I have like the burn notice video. And I think I'm going to continue to make some videos over there, just me kind of talking about whatever, and we'll see what goes on over there. But as far as the podcasts go, whether you've listened to every episode or one episode, I appreciate it. And if you listen to this whole thing, that's insane. I don't think I'll ever listen to this whole thing all the way through. This is huge, but it's my favorite one to do. Can't wait to see you next year. Appreciate it. Let's have a great 2024. And be ready for the Sort of Sporties 2024 because I'm going to have Larry the Cucumber from Veggie Tales host. So that's going to be pretty crazy. All right, see you all in the next one. We'll catch you. Next episode is going to be the NFL playoffs, and so that'll be great. I can't wait to take the Ravens win the Super Bowl. All right. See you later. And if you just come in for the Sort of Sporties, catch you next year with my boy Larry. Bye-bye.